All right, all right. So let's see if the volume's working here. I do apologize. I went live a little bit later than I anticipated. I wanted to go live, an hour and a half ago. So I um I am here to do a live stream. I will put a link down in the comment section if people want to join. I see there's somebody already in the back chat. I will bring you up here in just a moment. But real quick, I gotta say hi to my boy, Galapagos. How you doing, Galapagos? He said, "Spoiler: nothing's gonna happen." Yeah, exactly. Again, the whole topic of the video, which is subject for other things to come up, but the main thing, of course, is September 23rd, which now today is September 23rd. Everybody thinks, oh, Jesus could come back, or Rapture, or CERN's gonna open up the portal to hell and demons are coming out. None of that's gonna happen today. None of that's going to happen. I mean, shit, let me tell you something. On the 24th, I have to go get three um, cavities filled, or I should say, tree. I have to go get tree, inside joke, tree cavities filled on the 4th. So, shit, if the rapture happened today, that would be a damn good thing. So I don't have to go to the dentist tomorrow. But, that's just not how it's going to be. So, yeah, Galapagos is right. Nothing's going to happen. He also said, by the way, what's up, BTT? Hope all is well. Yeah, I'm doing all right, Galapagos. Hope you're doing okay as well. He said, I got to get a haircut tomorrow. Would be funny if it happened. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shit, hey, look, it'd be a damn good thing if the rapture did happen today because, shit, tomorrow I got to go to the damn dentist. You know what I'm saying? So, shit, that would be a good thing if it happened today. But the truth is, it's just not going to happen. So, anyway, there's an individual. I'll bring you up here. Bear with me just a second.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm from Sandy's, a channel. I'm from
Okay,
her
cool.
channel. How are you?
Okay, go. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good. What does show do today?
What I do today? I don't know. I just had a few errands I had to run today, but not a whole lot. How about yourself?
Sandy's on right now.
Okay.
Sandy's on right now. Sandy, do you know her? Sandy Diva?
Perhaps we've had a conversation in the past. Yeah.
Okay, and who's in the back chat? Who's in the back?
Well, you were the only person in the back.
Who is this in here? These comments.
You talking about Galapagos here?
Yes. Who is
That's
that?
that's from the YouTube live chat, like people watching it and leave a comment on it.
That makes sense.
What do you
What are
use
we gonna
StreamYard?
talk about today?
Well, I mean, initially the topic was about the how people believe the rapture is going to happen today, but I mean, if you got other topic or question, we could
What
leave off on that.
does that? What is it actually stand for? The Wapper has what?
Oh, you're asking what the rapture stands for?
Yes. Sorry.
No, you're good. Basically, it means in Christian view, it's the day that Christ comes back and redeems his chosen people from the earth. There's many different views. Some believe it happens before the tribulation, in the middle of the tribulation, or post tribulation. But that's basically in a nutshell what the rapture means.
Okay. And who are you on your channel?
Me,
Channel
my
is,
the name
yes,
is Nathan
about.
Roberts, but channel name is End Time Teacher. By the way, how did you come across the live stream? Are you just searching on YouTube because
Yes,
you hopped in here
yeah,
quick?
yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yes. Yes, I do. I did. Yes, I did. Is that okay, or is that?
Yeah, no issue. I'm just asking because usually ask when people come up here. So just so I understand it, you said you came from Sandy's channel. I'm not familiar with the
Yes.
individual. Maybe we've talked once in the past. I'm not sure. But what's your view? Are you like Christian, atheist, or what's your view on that?
A Christian. What about you?
Yeah, I technically am a Christian. I believe in Christ. So
Same with
technically I
me
would be.
too. Same with me as well as too. Yeah, same with me too.
Okay, cool. So I mean, again, if you got a topic of conversation, you're welcome to bring it up. If there's a topic or subject you would like to bring up, or maybe I should ask you this: what's your thoughts about September 23rd as a Christian?
What's that?
What's that? Well, basically, a lot of people believe that, as I said, either a rapture event will happen today, or a bunch of other things, right? So I don't know. Maybe you're not familiar with it, but that's what they think.
What about you? What about you? You think
No, no. We over here we teach that the rapture happens at the end of the great tribulation. Like for the
the
audience, I'll give them
rapture?
a
I
verse.
don't know what that is. Wow.
Okay, well, I'll explain it one more time for you.
Okay,
The Yeah, the rapture basically is the day that Christ returns to redeem his chosen people. And people debate about as to like when that'll take place. Some believe it's before the tribulation, middle of the trib, or after. That's basically what the rapture is. You can read about it in Mark 13, Luke 21, Matthew 24, among a couple other examples.
a true? Is that true?
Is what true, the teaching of the rapture?
Yes. I don't know
Yeah,
what that.
I'd say, yeah, I
I
would say that
never heard of that.
I'd say that the rapture is real. I'd say it's true, but there's different schools of thought as to like when it's going to happen. Some believe it's like after the tribulation, in the middle, or before. Over here, we teach is after. Like Matthew chapter 24,
Yes.
verse 29 says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the Son of Man's going to return and send his angels to gather together his chosen. So that's what we teach over here.
Is that okay? Is that okay? Like, is that a good thing? Is
Well, yeah, it is a good thing.
okay. That
What's that?
makes
What's that? Is that a what's that thing you're twisting
a
around there? Is that
straw.
a
A straw.
straw?
I
Okay.
itch my hands with because my coat knit his my coat. It helps with everything. Yes, it
All right, I
does.
understand. I understand.
Sorry,
But
I'm
no, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I mean, if you have a question or comment, you're welcome to ask. But beyond that, I do have to get back to the lesson. If anybody else is watching and wants to hop up here, perhaps you could click the link. But I specifically put the link there for any viewer that does believe in the rapture today. Like I say, for instance, like I had a dude I've been talking to back and forth on the Gmail, and he's been asking me to come up for a discussion. And we tried to arrange it like 3 times, and unfortunately, he keeps having to move the date, which it's fine. Everybody is in different circumstances. I understand that, but it was like, hey, man, like today is literally, today could be the day, right? Today could be that great day that you all are talking about. So I was telling them yesterday, well, how about we do a stream, on the 22nd together so we can have a discussion? Because this guy's like literally convinced. If anybody don't know who it is, it's this guy named James. that was back from the Shrek days, right? So he's a viewer from like 4 or 5 years ago, and he's convinced himself that the rapture is going to happen today. And he's not the only one. I mean, you better believe there's literally millions of people on the internet who believe that the rapture is going to, take place today. But boy, do I got news for y'all. Y'all are going to be left, disappointed, which, is kind of expected because, people have been talking about this September 23rd and, secret rapture on YouTube, literally for like 10 or 15 years. Like it's nothing new this year. Now, maybe James didn't know about people teaching this stuff for, 10 or 15 years, but this year is nothing special. Let me see if I missed any comments. Kiwi asked, so you say if you have a daughter and the mom is an Israelite, but the dad's not, would the daughter not be an Israelite because it's from the dad's side only? Yeah, according to the scriptures, your father's side of the family determines if you're a Israelite or not. Right? It's not going by your mother's side of the family, and your lineage is determined by your father's side. Like I'll give an example. Like if you read, what is that? Ezra chapter 2 verse 59. That's from the Old Testament, not the Apocrypha. But Ezra 2:59, nearly paraphrasing off the top of the head, but it says that they went and declared their pedigrees from the father's side of the family. Look that up. So, like in the Bible, what term determines your nationality is who your father and his father and their father and their father before them were. So that's what would determine your nationality, not going by your mother's side of the family. At least according to the scriptures, that's the way that it's determined. Yeah, you're right, Lynn. Right, just another day. That's just what it's going to be. Everybody hyped this up, just like remember back, what was it, April the 8th of last year, where when it was that solar eclipse. Everybody was like, oh, it could be an alien invasion. CERN might open up a portal, or the rapture could happen. Everybody was sitting there saying, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to go down like that. First of all, how the hell are all these knuckleheads on YouTube saying that they know the hour and the day that Christ is coming back? But Christ literally said himself, if you read Matthew chapter, excuse me, not Matthew, Mark 13, verse 32, Christ of that day and that hour, nobody knows, not the angels that are in heaven, neither the Son, but only the Father knows. So, for one, that proves that Christ is not his Father, right? It proves that Christ is not the Almighty God. So, it debunks the Trinity, but that's a video for another time. But Christ said he doesn't even know when this is going to happen. Or neither the angels. So how the hell does still small voice Claire on YouTube somehow like know the month that it could happen, or all these hundreds of thousands of other people that are putting rapture predictions on YouTube? Like how the hell do these guys know? It's obvious, that when they get their prediction wrong, they're just going to move it to either a couple months away or next year. And again, it's nothing new. They've literally been doing this shit for at least a decade, if not a decade and a half. Like seriously, I remember watching on YouTube back in 2014, the same shit about September 23rd. And here we are yet again on September 23rd, and nothing's gonna happen. And that's just what it is. Hey, how you doing, Lion of Judah? Hope you're doing well. MMA Paradise, how you doing? he said that's a voodoo ritual she's doing on you with that feather. Nah, man, you're looking too deep into that, man. I don't know who that was. I could tell she had like some type of disability, so I was trying to be respectful. Yeah, so just so everybody knows, I did not remove her from here. She actually either got disconnected or left herself. Just to clarify that. Um, so I was going to give her a chance to speak. Again, I initially wanted to keep it on the topic, but I was going to give her a chance to speak. As far as the what is it, the Sunday or Sandy character she was talking about on YouTube, I don't know who that is. As I said, I told her perhaps maybe in the past we've had a conversation because I've went on, hundreds of different channels on YouTube. So perhaps maybe I've talked to somebody named Sandy in the past, but it doesn't ring a bell off the top of the head. All right, shalom, shalom. Diane Lynn said, Google it, some pastor in Africa came up with that rapture date. I mean, I'm not going to pinpoint it to a certain individual because there are many different theories with September 23rd. It's not only the rapture. Like, as I said, some people believe that, like, if I'm not mistaken, if you go back to like 2012, they believe that, with the Mayan calendar, it was like a connection with like September the 23rd. So some believe that, the world could have ended on September the 23rd. Again, there's a whole bunch of different ideas and theories that, dudes come up with. Yo, Galapagos, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, my friend?
All
Long
right,
time
man.
no see.
Yeah, what's up, dude? I had to configure my audio here in StreamYard. I don't know why it wasn't picking up my headset for whatever reason. The device that was selected was like my Xbox headset, and that's something that I haven't used in a long time. But that option was still ticked on for whatever reason.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but yeah, man. Just trying to get by, taking it one day at a time, just like you. And yeah, I don't really. Darn, man, it's been so long. I don't really know what to say. Like, so much stuff has happened, like
Right, right.
it's
Oh,
not
but
like
but I forgot
how it was
Galapagos.
back in those 2020 days.
Right, right. Like I forgot, man. Remember, with all this craziness going on, with the supposed rapture that might happen today, remember, we're living in the kingdom. Remember, this is the
Oh
kingdom.
yeah,
Christ is
yeah.
ruling
I
today,
was I
and it's
was
all peace.
saying, yeah, I was saying to myself, when you were talking about all these people that were throwing out these dates and believing the rapture is going to happen, I was like, you know what's going to happen tomorrow? All only thing that's going to happen is we're just going to have a lot of future mics, primal mans, even T-Mogs, they're just gonna join
Oh
the
yeah.
numbers of people that are just throwing it all out. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
we,
man.
we might have
Like
some reformed like Hindus or something tomorrow afterwards because
yeah, I mean, hell, it's gonna be what was that thing back in the 30s? Like the miracle of the sun event. Well, it's basically that all over again.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
everybody sold their homes, emptied their bank accounts because they thought the rapture and Christ was gonna come back on this random day because some pastor said so, and of course it never happened. And then everybody goes home disappointed. That's what's gonna happen today. Everybody's looking for this secret rapture. Everybody's looking for Christ to come back today, but it's not going to happen. Everybody's going to be left disappointed for the 15th, 20th year in a row at this point.
Yeah, man, it's just like like the Carrington event. All the electronics went out and everything, and a lot of people, I think, even then thought that the rapture was going to happen,
Right.
where Christ was going to return, and nothing came of it. But yeah, man, I don't know how these Christians do it. I've seen the channels just like you were describing. Probably not still small voice, but there's countless other channels out there now, and I see them in my feed all the time. Even newer channels saying, "Oh, I had a dream. I talked to Jesus, and he said he's coming soon on this day, or this and that, or watch out for the signs in the season." So I think that means he's coming during the summer solstice or the winter solstice. Like I've heard it all, man. It's just
Yeah,
laughable at
man,
this
I
point.
hear you. Like say for instance, like the last couple of days, I keep getting comments. Literally, even last night, I got a comment or two from people saying, "Oh, well, well, this is just foolish what you're saying, ETT. Check out this other channel. This pastor pinpoints it down to the date and gives all the signs. You know
Like
what I'm saying?
every other
It's
pastor that's
hilarious.
tried doing that.
And as I said, there was a dude that I keep going back and forth with on Gmail named James. He was back from the Shrek days, and I keep trying to ask him, man, do you want to come up for an hour? I attempted 4 times with him to get him up here, but for whatever reason, he wasn't able to do so, which I'm not knocking him. He says he has some, some serious problems. So, it is what it is. But I was real curious to talk to him because he kept saying, "Oh, here's these 20 different videos to check out." He even says that he talks to God directly the last couple of days. I was curious to
Oh
see
man,
where he's
that's
going with
interesting.
that.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
wonder. I wonder what that's like.
yeah, so he was like so convinced, and trying to get me to believe that the rapture is going to happen today. Oh, well, ETT, take this into consideration. And out of fairness, I did check out the information that he was given, but the truth is, most of what he was given is just like, these rapture dreams on YouTube that people have been having. And I try to tell him, like, man, you do realize that people have been talking about this literal same thing, September 23rd, for like 10 or 15 years. In fact, I would argue that you could probably even find a couple of videos going back to like the early days of YouTube 20 years ago.
Dude,
There's
I
nothing new
know
about
it's
people saying these rapture dreams. It's nothing
yeah,
new.
it's nothing new at all, man. I remember way back in the day, like early YouTube days, like around 2012, 2011. They were like I was a kid back then and I didn't even believe that. And back then I was still Catholic, and I still didn't believe that in the rapture or like that it was going to happen on this particular day or whatever. And I would see all these channels, people, starting brand new YouTube channels. Hey, I just got a vision from Jesus. He just told me he's returning soon on this day or this and that. So many people prophesying, and it never happened. It never
Right,
ever
right.
happened.
Absolutely. Again, it's year after year. Like seriously, like 2 or 3 years ago, there's a knucklehead in the comment section who every single week who would leave a comment and say, I've done some number calculations and the rapture will happen on this day of this month. Then when that doesn't happen, then he'll come back and say, oh, well, it's, this other month. And he literally did this for like 2 years on end, back to back every month. It's like, hey, look, man, if you want to tell yourself that, go ahead and believe that, but save yourself the time and effort of posting the comments here because the smart people that come around this channel, we don't want to hear that nonsense. We don't want to hear that because that's a total lie. I mean, say for instance, like when Christ said in Mark 13:32, he said, of that day and that hour, no man knows, not the angels in heaven, neither the Son, but only the Father. So if Christ himself doesn't even know when this is going to happen, how the hell do these million people on YouTube supposedly know the exact day and hour that this event's going to take place? Like pinpointing it to, either April the 8th or September 23rd. It's like, how the hell do these people know if even the Christ himself said he doesn't even know when this event's going to happen? Makes no sense.
Yeah, and that's another cut right there to the people that say, like Jesus is God, because he even says if Christ doesn't know his own return, and it says like the Father's the one that knows, then how is he splitting himself into two entities, talking to someone above him if he's also God?
Yeah, but you know what I find funny, Galapagos? Like, I don't know if you got to see that conversation I did with Mr. Jill over the last week or two, but on one hand, I'll say, well, Jesus is God, right? Jesus created everything, he is God. And then I say, okay, well, are you saying that Christ is the Ancient of Days? Oh, yes. But then I ask him, okay, so would you agree with your standpoint that Christ is the Father then from your understanding? Oh, no, he ain't the Father. But it's like, well, hold up, explain this to me. Isn't the Ancient of Days God and the Father? Aren't those all just names or titles that people call the Most High God? So how the hell could you say that Christ on one hand is the Ancient of Days from the book of Daniel? He is the Old Testament God, but somehow he's not the Father though. Like again, a lot of these Trinitarians are just unclear in their own head as to what they're saying. Oh, 1 minute Christ is God, and next minute he's not. It's like it's a schizophrenic and just a totally a lopsided belief. It's just totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand it, man. Like again, I was raised a Catholic, and I grew up believing I grew up being taught about the Trinity. That's what we went by. And even back then, I always had a question because my teachers growing up, they were all nuns. All of them were nuns. And I would try asking them, like, could you explain like the Trinity in detail for me? Because it's like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, but at the same time, we're to believe that they're all like one energy split up into three. But it's just it's kind of like sending you for a spin if you really think about it, because it's like, okay, are they three separate entities, or is it one being? And if it is one being, why do we need the Trinity? You know? But they would always just say, "Oh, just accept it. Don't think too hard about it." And I'm like, that's not giving me an answer. You know?
Yeah, well, a way that you can cut these doctrines like that is like ask them, okay, well, when Christ ascended after his resurrection, like, is he now fully God? And if they say yes, well, then you'd have to ask them, well, like, say for instance, when if you read Acts the 7th chapter, when Stephen was stoned around, what was it? I believe it's 55, verse 55. He says he looked up to the heavens and saw the Son of Man standing on the right hand of the Father. So wait a second. So if Christ has already ascended at this point, isn't he now fully God? So how does he standing on the right hand of God if he fully is God at this point? It completely makes no sense. Like, how can you sit there and claim
And you know
that they're
what's
all? Go ahead.
You know what's really crazy about that point you just made
Yeah.
is Christians will literally, instead of accepting what the Bible says about that, they'll literally tap dance around, twist and turn, jump through flaming hoops. They're actually trying to debunk the Bible, is what they're really trying to do. They're unintentionally trying to twist the script, debunk the scriptures, debunk the Bible, and say, "Oh no, it doesn't say that." It's like, but it does say that. They just don't want to accept it. Like, um, I remember I was talking to an Orthodox guy one time, and he was really pushing me because he got mad when I said that. First, when I said I'm not Catholic anymore, he got mad. He was like, "Oh, dude, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, Catholics, they're going off." And I'm like, he's like, "So what are you now?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm non-denominational." I was like, "I don't, I think they're all kind of going off. I don't think Orthodoxy is the way either." And dude, he got like, I don't know if like I called his team bad or something. Like on the sports teams, they get kind of
Right.
butthurt when you say, "Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of the Eagles," or "I'm not a fan of the Cowboys." They're like, whoa, 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 what? Like they just like a fire just gets lit underneath them. So he started coming
Right.
at me, and he was like, "So, what do you believe in?" And I was like, "Well, I don't agree with the Trinity, man. It just doesn't sit right with me." And I was trying to show him, I'm like, "So when Christ is on the cross, who is he talking to?" And then he tried to twist it, and he was like, "Oh, well, I know that it says that, but it's not literal. It's like he was trying to say that, oh, it's like poetic. He's not literally talking to himself. It means something else, or it's not in a literal sense. It's metaphorical." I'm like, so is a metaphorical God gonna come down and save you? Like, what are you waiting for? What exactly are like you Orthodox people waiting for? And with Orthodoxy, I don't know if you looked into them that much. What I found out is it's almost not that different than Catholicism, because they have I remember when you were debating that guy and he kept trying to go off on you, like it was like that he kept hitting a wall with you. He wasn't understanding what your lingo, what you were saying, even though you were laying out the verses for him, like spoon feeding him basically.
Right.
Well, they have this idea that they call it apostolic succession. That's what he was telling you. That guy kept repeating it. Oh, apostolic succession. That's how I find out what the verse means. Or what. Basically, what he's trying to tell you in layman's terms is he goes off of what the church fathers and what they say, their interpretation. And dude, really? Okay, this is gonna like probably piss a lot of people off when I say it, but this just goes to show that Catholicism, Orthodoxy, and the Christian realm of things, how they try to defer themselves from Judaism and Islam and all that.
Right.
They're not that different than Islam. They're not that different. Like if you look into what Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims believe, they go off of the same principles basically. They go off of the same principles of what the early scribes and what they wrote and all that, their version of their holy book. And that's why they're still at each other's throats fighting today, because they can't agree on an interpretation. It's the same exact thing with Catholicism, Orthodoxy. They go off of what their church leaders say versus what the book says. And that's why they're still stumped to this day. And they will never almost ever give you an answer of their own interpretation, because they can't. They're raised to believe that that's not onto them. They don't have the power to do that. It's onto their church leaders. It's onto their church fathers. It's onto the people that have passed down the book. And that's the only interpretation that they're going to go off of. Even if they feel that their interpretation is wrong, they'll never say it, because they're taught that, hey, you can't do that. Who are you to have your own opinion on what this verse says? You're not qualified, and you'll get punished for it.
But let
Muslims
me throw
and
a verse
Christians,
on that
they
to
both
add
think
on
the
to what
same
you're
thing,
saying.
bro. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, if you read Matthew 15 and verse 7 to 9, it says, "These people, they honor me with their mouth, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching the doctrine and the commandments of men." Now, that shows modern Christianity in a nutshell. Say, for instance, when I go 2 miles away from me, why the hell are there are free damn churches downtown flying a pride flag out? And then if we rewind back to 2020, you couldn't even enter into the church without having a face diaper on. It's like, well, wait a second, what the hell? It shows that these
Exactly.
guys are just repeating bullshit because that's what the government on one hand tells them, and of course the minister over the church, they'll go by what he says. In fact, I'll even add this on. I recently was having a conversation with a local Christian, and we got into the food conversation about, lawful, unlawful meats. And they were telling me, well, yeah, my congregation, is Catholic. My pastor tells me, it's not really of much a concern, what you consume, as long as you treat other people good, as long as you show up on Sunday. And, of course, give the church tithes. Of course, give the church tithes, though.
Yeah,
Let's
you
not forget
gotta
about that. But,
you gotta give those
it doesn't
donations,
matter if you
man.
eat pork or lobster, that don't matter. It's all done away.
Yeah, you can go out on Friday night, go to the 5-star seafood restaurant, eat that lobster, eat that shrimp, crab. Hey, man, you can eat it all, because Christ died for it.
Yeah, but that's it's really sad to me, and it shows that a lot of people are just clearly have no knowledge of the Bible. Like, say for instance, they'll read Matthew the 7th chapter, or excuse me, Mark the 7th chapter, or Matthew the 20. Was it the 15th chapter about eating food without washing your hands? They'll go there and isolate one or two verses where it says, "Oh, it's not that which goes in the mouth that defiles you, but that what comes out." See, Jesus made all foods clean for you. But it's like, well, if you just read the context of the entire conversation, the whole conversation is about eating food without washing your hands. So Christ was simply explaining that the germs on your hands that get onto the food you eat, it's not going to defile the body. It's your immune system will fight it off. Even if you do get sick, you're eventually going to fight the germs off. It's not going to do anything to your body. It's not talking about eating shrimp, crab, and lobster and camels or alligator. That's not what Christ is talking about, but it shows that people like to isolate, one verse here or there, and that's their understanding of the Bible. Like, they'll read one verse over there and say, "Oh, well, God loved the world. See, salvation for everybody." It's like, okay, but do you know that the word world has multiple different contexts in the Bible? When you tell people that words have context, everybody gives that, 9-yard stare because, they're all in a totally, they that have no clue what the hell you're talking about. They're not intelligent enough to keep up with the conversation. Everybody got that 30-second TikTok attention span at this point, and it's
Dude,
really
it's
damn
bad,
sad,
man.
man.
It's bad, dude. I've seen that in real time, man. I've seen that in real time. There's people that I haven't talked to in years, and I'll talk to them on the game, like maybe PlayStation or whatever. And man, they gotta be. They're like dopamine fried. They gotta always be doing something else. Like, they'll be playing a game, and then I hear them playing a TikTok in the background, and having the TV on in the background and scrolling Twitter. I'm like, God dang, man. Like, can't you just do like, can't your mind just be focused on one thing? Like, why do you got to be doing like 5 things at once? Like, that just doesn't even sound fun. but
Right.
they
I
got to
hear you. Like
constantly
I
be
saw.
stimulated.
Right. Like say for to add on to what you're saying, I saw a meme that somebody put up the other day, and they were saying, today phone addiction is so bad now that it seems like a accomplishment to sit down, put the phone away, and to watch a 2-hour movie without, having to check the phone every 2 minutes. Right. That's like a accomplishment today to sit down and watch a movie to get off of the internet and the phone. That's real sad, and that's considered a accomplishment today.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how bad it's getting. It's like these young kids, man, they got it real bad. Like younger than us, they're addicted to all the devices. They got everything. They got the phone, they got the smartwatch, they got it, they got it all. I don't even have any of that. I have the money for it, but I don't have that. I just have a basic Samsung, and that keeps me content. I don't need all these smart devices and all this extra AirPods, all that. Um,
Yeah, I
it's
hear you,
just
man. Like
it's
like I
not
was
even
just
that
looking at
stuff's not even
Walmart.
good for you. Yeah.
Right. Like I was looking at Walmart just to check the phones, and they have like a cheap um aisle there. I think it's a Smart Talk or something, where they're like, $20, $50, the most expensive's 100. And I was telling the person I'm with, it's like if I had to get a new phone, I just grab one of these cheap, 50, maybe $100 ones. Why the hell go out and get one of these damn $1,500 phones, or now they're over $2,000 phones? It just doesn't make any damn sense how somebody's going to pay, 2 months of rent for a damn phone. It's just getting out of hand at this point.
Yeah, and another thing that's kind of crazy is that like for example, I have a S23. It's not that old of a phone for Samsung. It's probably like a few models below the newest one. What I've noticed at stores now is you remember back in the day, you could have like maybe like a BlackBerry or something, and you could still find products for it, like cases and all that, even though it wasn't the newest phone. It's maybe a few phones away from the newest version they had, or like a Droid, whatever. Nowadays, dude, they barely have any cases in stock, and the ones they do, it's only the newest phone and then the one right before it. They don't have any like cases for even phones that aren't even that old. Like I went to Walmart too, and it was the guy told me the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, we don't have anything for that phone anymore. We just have the newest one and the one below that." And I'm like, "Dude, that's ridiculous, man. Like this is not even that old. Like you guys should still have things for it." I had to go to a knockoff shop where the guy had cases for everything you can think of, and buy a case from him, and his were cheaper than what they had in the store. They A basic phone case, it wasn't even an OtterBox thing, was like almost $50. Case I bought at the knockoff store, better quality, bro. That thing was like almost $20 plus tax, but it was way cheaper than what was at Walmart. And Walmart's supposed to be cheap, you know?
Right, I hear you. I mean, hell, like say for instance, I was looking for I need a new charger for a device I have, and I was looking up to see what they want at Walmart for it, and this thing is damn, $38 for just a 5 foot cord. And some of them don't even include the charging block
The
with it.
charging pack, yeah. hey, hey, you're old if you remember back in the day when it came with a full set. Now you got to buy them separate.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I can't believe that. I
Yeah,
cannot
shit. I
believe
remember,
that.
man, getting when I got a new phone, like even say 10 years ago, when you get one, they give you the charger, the charger block in it. You even get the key to unlock the SIM card if needed, and of course the instruction book. But shit, now when you buy these phones, a lot of the times they're not even giving you a damn cord with it, and even the ones who do give a damn cord, you got to buy the charging block for the back of it, and
Yeah,
even the
man.
case too.
Yeah, man. When I upgraded and got the S23, unlike the previous one I had, the previous Samsung, it came with the charger, it came with the fast charging block, it came with the SIM card key, whatever. This, and it even came with like attachments that you could use to plug in a flash drive. It even came with that. This one, S23, didn't come with none of that. None of that. All I got was the little SIM card key, and it's the same as the old one. So now I have two. but I didn't come with no charger, no nothing. I had to buy the charger separately.
Wow, that's just sad, man. That's just sad.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing I hate too is they keep changing the USB type port. It's like the Type C port, I think now.
Right.
So the old one, the more common one that you would see, that would work on pretty much virtually anything. It doesn't work on these new phones. You got to get like an adapter for it or whatever, and you could buy one off Amazon. But it's like, why do I got to go through these extra hoops to get my phone to basically function how my old phone did? Like it's just ridiculous, man. And then they take away the headphone jack, so they want you to get a Bluetooth earbud, whatever.
Right.
And then a few generations later, they bring it back because everybody's complaining about it. Like iPhone did it, then they took it away, then they brought it back, and then they took it away again. And people that buy iPhones, dude, I haven't bought an iPhone since the iPhone 4S. That was a long, long time ago. And I don't understand how people are still buying them. They clearly, Apple has shown that their products are bad. They don't care about the people that use them. They're just there, to make more consumers. And they were the first ones that actually started doing that thing where they take away the headphone
Yo,
jack and
have
bring it
have you
back.
ever seen, not only do they not care about the customers, but I've watched documentaries overseas, like in China, where they manufacture the Apple products that they have to put what's the word I'm looking for? Nets on the sides of the
Oh
building
yeah,
so
yeah.
if
I know
some
what you're
workers
talking
jump
about.
out the
I know.
window over there.
I know what you're talking about, man. Yeah,
Right.
that's crazy. That's really insane. And then another thing is with iPhones, they're more restrictive. I mean, that's saying that's putting it lightly nowadays because everything's restrictive now. Social media, all it's getting bad. It's getting real bad out there. But iPhones, you can't download like emulators for games like a Game Boy emulator, whatever. If it's not on the Safari or like the approved app store, then it's hard for you to get it unless you jailbreak it. But then if you jailbreak it, you void your warranty. With Samsung, you can go out, do whatever you want. If it's outside of the Play Store, fine. Go out to a website, download it. It's on you if the phone gets damaged or whatever. But I remember that was a thing, a hurdle I was trying to jump through because I was trying to get a Game Boy emulator on here. But yeah, Samsung, they're not restrictive like iPhones. But people will still tell me, "Oh, iPhone's better because of the camera." It does not matter. It really does not make that much of a difference.
You know what I find funny, man, to add on to that? It's like you look at some of these new phones, it's like, why the hell do some of these phones have like 6 or 7 different cameras on it? It's like, isn't just 1 or 2 cameras good
I
enough?
don't know. I really don't know. And you know what? I don't even notice that much of a difference. Like mine has 3 lenses on it, and I don't even notice a difference compared to my previous phone. The quality
Right,
does
me
not
too.
look that. It looks about the same. I guess
Right.
it has like extra filters. I don't know. I know it records in slow motion, but that's that's the only thing that really stands out. Nothing else is that different. Even the thing with gaming consoles, like I have a PlayStation 4. I have some friends with a PS5, and they were even telling me the PS5 has more problems than the PS4. It has less games, and the controller for the PS5 is more flimsy than the one for the PS4. And I'm like, man, it just seems like the quality for all the new stuff is good at getting lower and lower and lower because they want us to keep buying more.
To add on to your statement, like on my PS4, I play the Call of Duty on there, and now they're telling me that in order to continue to play it, you must repurchase the game. I think to myself, what the hell? I already paid y'all 50 damn dollars. And not only did I pay $50 for the game, I'm also paying $25 every 3 months in order to have my online servers. So they're constantly getting money from me every 3 months to pay for that. And now they want me to go and purchase the shit again. It's like, why the hell do I gotta buy the damn thing again if I literally
Wh-
bought it? I
Why is it
literally
asking you
have
to buy it
the
again? Is it
physical
saying like
disc.
the
I have
license
the
ran out or
physical
something?
disc on my desk. It's not even a digital version. Like, you know how you can
Oh
today
wow.
buy the games online? I have the
Uh,
physical disc. I put the disc into the PlayStation, and they won't let me play it for whatever damn reason. It's just total bullshit.
yeah, that's crazy, man. That's really crazy. Um, I I had something happen recently where I was trying to play this game, Bloodborne, and it was saying like it couldn't verify the license, so it wasn't letting me play it. So I had to like do something in my settings to reset the cache so that it could scan again, and then it verified it. But I was like, the heck with that. If the power goes out or whatever, and I can't verify it, it's not going to let me play it. So I bought a physical copy. But buying the physical disc, I thought my save would be put on there because the memory's on my profile. You would think that it would go on there, but when I put the physical disc in and it downloads all the data for it, what it does is it puts them in separate brackets. So my digital game is separate from my physical game. So my physical game has like a blank save, and my digital game has my character and everything. So I'm like, wow. So I can't transfer that over. That's stupid.
Yeah, it's total inconsistency, and it's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, but I forgot, right? According to that two Yeezy character from a couple streams ago, oh, man, how dare any of y'all sit there and complain? The government, oh, they're not taking from us corporations. They're not corrupt. 950 is a fair wage
I
today.
think
You
I
just
remember
gotta
that
budget more.
guy. You got to really wonder where these people are coming from, man. Like, I think a lot of these people we see online, even on Twitter and stuff, it's just like bots. They don't even feel like real people. I
Yeah,
remember
a lot of these
like,
dudes are like I call that guy too cheesy, right? He is too cheesy, is what he is. He's just a brain rotted zombie. He's an NPC. He's a
dude,
non-player
you
character,
know
is what
what's really
that's what it
crazy? I
is.
got something to say to that. There's real people that I know and like sort of know, like online and stuff. And ever since 2020, I don't know what that whatever did to people. If it was, it could have been the isolation too, but whatever it did, man, it turned some of those people into robots. Like, you see the way they talk online, you see the way they interact, like they come off as bots. You would think that's a bot. That's not a real person, but you know it is. Like, oh, I know that guy. It doesn't sound like a real human. Like the interaction, it just seems so artificial and fake. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then on
Yeah,
Twitter,
yeah, I hear
uh,
you. I
on
hear you.
Twitter, I see a lot of people tweeting nowadays. They all sound like they're like an author or a poet. Like the way they write, it's so unnaturally perfect. It's like they ran what they were going to write through Chat GPT, spiced it up a little bit, and then sent that tweet out so they could get more engagement. And it's just so crazy, man. Remember like 5 years ago, like, or even 6 years ago, like old when it was actually Twitter, you could go on there, say whatever you want. There was no censorship. Um, but it wasn't like it wasn't super toxic yet. Like, yeah, people fought and stuff, but when you would talk, get a reply, like, it was a genuine interaction. I met a few people off Twitter that I'm still, kind of talking to today. They're like acquaintances now, but we used to be good friends. And like nowadays it just feels so fake. Like you get on there, I can't even tell. I got so many people following me, or I got quite a few people following me, but I can't even tell if they're real or not. But back then you had a general idea of like who was who. Like it felt like a real person is what I'm saying. Now you can't really differentiate between a bot and a person that's just running their stuff through ChatGPT or AI, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's getting crazy out here. Any way, shape, or form that you look at everything, it's just it's all downhill, right? It's just all downhill. Shit, as I said, man, it would be a great thing, if that rapture was to happen today, especially because tomorrow I gotta go get free fillings, and you
Oh yeah,
gotta get your
man.
hair cut, as you said.
Yeah, if
So
I don't
shit,
gotta
it
get a
would be
haircut,
a good thing if it happened today, but that's just not realistic.
yeah, man. If that golden UFO, if I see that golden UFO on the way to the barber, I'm gonna just stop my car right there. I'm gonna tell Leo, hey man, I'm not coming in. Like, I'm getting beamed up. I'm getting out of here.
Right, right.
I'll
Yo,
get that
man, did
haircut
you
in the
see that
kingdom.
video recently that the U.S. Senate released? It was they shot a UFO, an orb with that Hellfire missile. Did you see that? It's been all over the internet.
Nah, I haven't seen that yet. But I remember a while back I saw some channel repost this clip, and it was like some ex guy that worked at NASA. I think I put it in your Discord, the article, but it had the clip of the video in there, and the guy was basically saying he met some extraterrestrials. They came off a craft, and he said they look like Negroes, so they look human.
Oh yeah, I seen
But
that. I seen you sent that there.
I don't
But
know if
it's
that was
funny.
I don't
Like
know if
there
that
was
was
a
real, but that was crazy. Like he said that.
Yeah, there was a guy, I don't know if you called it, but a few days ago there was, I believe his name was like Manny or something. He's back this from this reg days. But he called in and we were going back and forth about the UFOs, and I brought up the clip about the missile hitting the UFO and bouncing right off. And the guy's like, "Oh, man, it's just man-made technology." It's like, well, what the hell technology did man have that can really get hit by a advanced missile and literally take it like it's nothing and continue on its path without any problem? Like what the
I,
hell are these guys smoking?
I
It's like
think we
everybody's
even
in a sci-fi fantasy land in their own mind. It's really sad.
yeah, or you got those people. Oh, it's all fake. It's everything's fake. It's all.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
he put his hand up in the air. He's a mason. It's fake. It's all fake. Yeah, nothing's real. It's like okay, let's let's try to see it from your perspective. Okay, even if you're right, everything's fake. Everything, absolutely. The bird in the flying in the air is fake. The trees are fake. The plants are fake. Your food is fake. Okay, if everything is fake, are you fake? Like, what's real at that point? And then on top of that, how do we get out of this? Like, what do you look for hope? Do you have any hope? Did you just give up? Or as your family, even your family, like, how do you decipher what's real or not at that point? And they just look at you dumbfounded. They're like, oh, that's I'm just calling it out. It's like, okay, but what does that do? Even if you're right, it does nothing. Absolutely nothing. You just stay in an echo chamber. Then that's
right.
what
Good
these
good
people have
point.
said on
Oh,
them.
let me add on that, and since you mentioned an echo chamber, this gave me a flashback, especially a couple days ago because it was September 11th. Hell, this has been a busy month with all these
Oh yeah,
things
man.
going on.
That thing
But
happened the day before, and it's like they completely
oh
forgot
yeah,
about it. They
right,
that's
right,
the first time ever I've seen it where they barely mentioned September 11th because of that thing that happened the day before. Like it's crazy.
right. Yeah, but with that, it gave me flashbacks to a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Me and Jay, we went on to Sav's channel, right? Silver Rain Soul, Unchained Mind, which I call his ass fully chained, right? His mind is fully chained. But we were having a discussion about the September 11th. And even though I stated, well, yeah, I don't take the official story, obviously the government was involved with it. But these knuckleheads, they would literally sit there and tell you, hey, look, those airplanes were all fake. All the footage online, all the civilians, they all faked the footage. Like I showed him a video of somebody capturing the second plane coming from over the Hudson, and he could hear everybody, in horror and couldn't believe what's going on. And this knucklehead Sav was like, "Oh, well, they sound like a bunch of crisis actors to me. A bunch of crisis actors to me." And there was a knucklehead in my comments section. I believe this cat's name is like SKS, so he's literally like named after a sniper rifle from like PUBG or Fortnite or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the dude was telling me, well, sorry, ETT, but on this topic, Sav, his arguments were superior. Those airplanes were all CGI and fake. Then I asked him, well, how the hell did they make the, like when the plane hit the tower? If you look closely at the footage, you can see where the wings went in sideways. And it literally is the outline of it. So I asked him, well, how the hell did they manage to do that? Oh, it was all like, somehow they did it.
Oh, it
None of
was
these
blue
guys have
beam.
any
It's
answers. They're
called
just making
CGI.
up nonsense.
Dude, I've
Wow,
heard
man.
so many arguments that they say the planes were completely fake. They were CGI. It was blue beam. That was the one time they used blue beam, and they never used it again. Apparently, even though it worked, if they did use it, it just I've heard it all. And then people will say like the footage they released later on is also fake. It's all made in a studio. It's AI. That was AI before the AI rolled out. Um, or and then I've heard people even say, "Oh, nobody died. Nobody actually died. Nobody was in the
Wow.
building." Yeah,
It's
that
crazy,
Finkelstein
man.
guy. Yeah, he wasn't there, but so was the rest of the people. They weren't there. Like it was all theatrics and all that. Or
But you know what I find weird though, Galapagos? Like you ask these people, okay, well, I understand you don't want to trust the government or the news, but let's put that aside for the second. What about the thousands of civilians who not only were eyewitnesses and saw this happen with their own eyes, but also thousands of them recorded it on whatever device they had at the time, and they literally have those videos on the internet. How can you just pretend that all of that is just, oh, it's all just edited and all CGI? It's like, well, what citizen is going to be sick enough to actually edit something like that? You know what I'm saying? It's like these guys make no sense with the buffoonery that
I
they're saying.
mean, yeah, and I mean, even if it's the government, like, okay, let's say it's the government, right? Um, which I believe, they were behind that event.
Right,
But
right.
why would they go through the trouble of, you know, faking that event? Why would they fake it to that extent, but then do the moon landing so laughably, like such terrible quality? If they had that type of technology on 9/11, why didn't they do that with the moon landing? If they used that type of technology, video technology, to do the moon landing, they could have made it more believable. They could have made it believable, but it's so, when you really, anybody go look at the moon landing footage, all of that, take all the variables and put them into account. And I don't care if you believe in space. I don't care if you don't believe in space. I don't care if you believe it's a snow globe, a snowman. The Earth looks like a fucking coconut. I don't care what you believe, right? If you go look at that footage, you're gonna clearly see discrepancies in it with what they science tells you should technically be happening on the moon with the rover, the everything they used to get over the Van Allen belt, the suit, everything, absolutely everything. And the footage from the moon is a smoking gun.
You know what I find funny, man? I gotta mention this. A year ago, and I haven't released this footage yet, so this is exclusive here. But a year ago, I went on to a black community. The YouTube channel was called Q Brother, if anyone wants to look it up. And we got into discussion about the whole flat Earth topic. And then, I was cutting them up to shreds. So then they had one of their big bad boys come up. I believe this cat's name was like the Wolverine, right? This guy was literally like claims to be the number one scholar, so educated, number one educator, knows his shit, knows what he's talking about. So the guy comes up, calls ETT stupid and, whatever. But then the ironic twist, and this caught me so off guard. I asked him, okay, so why do you believe that they went to the moon? Like looking at all this evidence, like what convinced you that they actually went there? I kid you not. This Wolverine guy literally said he believes that they went to the moon because they said they went to the moon. Wow. And this is like the top of the line at Cuba. This is the number one debater. He believes the government went to the moon because, well, they said on TV they went to the moon. I kid you not. This is literally what the dude told me. Oh, well, ETT. Well, yeah, all the footage of the mistakes and, none of that matters. But I believe they went there because
Yeah,
they said they went there.
you know
Why would
who's
they
like
lie
that?
about it?
You know who's like that? You know who's just like that?
Who?
I see his videos pop up on my feed sometimes. The angry pepper.
Oh, yeah.
That
The
guy will
angry
be like,
pepper.
he'll be like, guys, the government, I know they're doing things right. I know they're doing things, but we went to the moon. The flat Earth, that stuff's all fake. They're full of shit. They're stupid. I don't know what to say, but the government's saying that these bad guys, these sleeper cells are in the country right now. So I would just be ready if you hear dude. He said this in his previous video. He said, guys, I know what an AK sounds like. If you hear an AK go off, then you better start running. But I'm not trying to scare anybody. But I would listen to the government. And then he'll make a video later saying, I don't trust the government. It's like, dude,
Right, right. I know what you're talking about. Like
I
I was
love this,
watching a
these
couple of
people,
this
man.
guy's videos from the last month or two. He got that classic, board background, which fun fact, I actually have the same one, but it's I haven't got it yet. It's in the mail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking on one hand, I'll say, oh, can't trust the government, with the jabby roosters from 2020. Oh yeah, that's all bad. But all these other things, oh yeah,
I think that's
obey the
actually how I
government.
found this channel way back then when he was talking about that. That's how I found this channel. And I would just occasionally watch it back then, but I always took him with a grain of salt because he would say some good things and then he would just say some stuff that's like, dude, really? You really believe that? Or you can't see through that? He's like a baby truth channel. Like
Right, right. Shit, just like Jay would call him, right? A baby truther. Which, as I said, man, you gotta take a lot of these dudes with a grain of salt. Like
yeah.
Jay, I've known Jay for like what 6 years, but even with him, you gotta take him with a grain of salt. I consider him to be a friend. Same thing with Nick, but all these guys you gotta take with a grain of salt. Like, say for instance, like Nick was commented. one of my things recently saying, "Oh, well, you just don't understand the Trinity," or "How could you sit there and say America's an evil country?" And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, dude, you know, first of all, you don't have any business teaching the Bible. You clearly don't know the Bible. You don't know 5 verses off the top of your head without doing a Google search for them. And then, second of all, oh damn, what was the point I was going to bring up? Oh yeah, it's just hilarious. Like, say for instance, like is one of those dudes who will sit there and if somebody was to show him like an AI video of like CERN releasing demons on today, right,
He'll
September
believe
23rd,
it.
he would literally believe the shit and go on YouTube and do a live stream
Is
about how
that
the
the guy?
demons were just
Is that
released.
the guy that was hosting you and Perry's debate?
Yeah, yeah, that dude, that
Oh,
dude.
okay. Dude, that guy, I think Jay exposed him. That guy was using bots to get subscribers on his channel. Like,
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, I think, me and Nick, we've had a few friendly conversations. We talk privately. I would consider him a friend, but he is also at the same time not very bright. It's very easy to deceive him. I mean, shit, if you showed him a video of like demons flying over Los Angeles, he would believe that shit and report that as real on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's really
yeah,
sad.
you got to really, yeah, man. And that's another thing is like, you really got to use your discernment nowadays because social media is just flooded with all that AI vomit. Like, it's hard for me to even get on social media now. It's actually easy for me to just not get on much anymore, and I really don't. I don't get on. I get on YouTube. YouTube's probably one of the only things I really use now. I don't use Discord that much. I don't use Twitter that much. Instagram, Facebook, because it's just AI and like bots everywhere, man. And but I always see this, especially on Facebook, a lot of older folks, they get deceived by that left and right, man. It's so bad the stuff they're falling for. Like I'll see like an AI video. It's an AI picture clearly of a person that's not real. It'll be like a veteran and it'll say, "Please pray for me. I lost my such and such." And it's laughably bad. Like the picture's clearly fake and you see all these old people commenting, "Oh, pray for the troops," or "God loves you," or "Jesus loves you," or that. And I gotta wonder if that's even real because some of them are some of them are real profiles, but there cannot be that many people that are like falling for this. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy, man. And like say for instance, with a lot of these older people, I see reports all the time of that scammers either emptying their bank accounts or getting them to go to the store and spend thousands in Google Play cards or Amazon cards or
oh, you
Walmart
talking
cards. And
about
you know
like
what I
those
find funny?
romance
Like
scams?
when you go to before you say that, when you go to the store and go to the gift card section, it's
Uh,
so bad now. They literally have to put multiple warnings there to tell you, oh, if someone contacts you and wants payment by gift card, it's not a real it's a scam. Don't do it. So it's so bad now they even have to give these warnings when you buy the damn cards.
yeah, it's really crazy. And then another thing that I don't get is they know employers know how bad it is nowadays with the text scams, the call scams, all that. It's really bad now. I thought it was bad a couple of years ago. Now I'm blocking like at least 5 numbers a week. And the employers or like jobs will be like, hey, or even like my car, the dealership, they'll be like, hey, we'll just text you or call you whenever your this part replacement part comes in or whatever. It's like, dude, why can't you just send me an email? Like, if you call me or text me from an unknown number, I'm not clicking any link, I'm not answering the phone. I'm like, you better leave a voicemail or something. It's like, these people know what times we're living in, and they still are using these outdated forms of communication. Like, bro, if you're my job and you're saying I need to take a class and you're gonna text it to me and it's an unknown number, I'm not clicking anything, bro, because I've seen countless scammers, get people on that.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's terrible the nonsense that's going on in here. Oh, I forgot though. This is a righteous kingdom. Jesus is ruling. All nations are in obedience. So
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
can't say
What?
nothing bad about America, according to
Yeah.
Nick, because
Yep.
this is great.
Yep. Nick's probably on board with the Christianity rise up that's going on right now. He probably thinks that's real.
Right.
Dude, all those people saying like, man, America's finally coming back to Christianity. Like, hallelujah, praise Jesus. Like, we're in the kingdom, man. We're bringing it on. Like, it's like, dude, you guys are so deceived. Like, you don't even know. This is like McDonald's Christianity or like Outback Steakhouse Christianity.
Yeah, man.
This is
It's
like
really
baby.
damn bad
This
out
is
here,
like
man.
McDonald's.
It's
This is
really
fast food
damn bad.
Christianity, is what I call it, because there ain't nothing Christian about it. It's just all in the name. It's like WWE, you know. It's
Yeah, like GMS call it crackianity, right? It's not Christianity, it's crackianity.
oh yeah, man. These places are bugged out. Like it's just insane. And
Yeah,
even
like
those,
say for instance, man, like
yeah,
I had to when I go to some of these churches, and see what's going on there, you're not even allowed to go into church at this point and say there's two genders. You'll be rushed out of there, you'll be, brushed under the rug to say that God created two genders, because now today there's like, 15, 20 different genders. And on the other hand, there's people out here literally grown ass adults dressing up like little children or like farm animals and taking a piss in the neighbor's yard. And this is the kingdom? This is what's going on out here in the kingdom? I mean, wow, this is getting bizarre. Let me tell you something, man. The other day I was on a walk at the nearby college, and I was, just minding my own business, and I happened to walk by these two what I thought were women. But it turns out one of these guys, one of them's actually a damn dude. Dude's walking around in
dude,
literally a princess outfit
dude,
at
ETT.
college.
I have
Wow.
a funny freaking story to tell you. Like that same thing happened to me a while back. So I was in another state, like visiting a friend, and one of the days I was on my own, just because they had stuff they needed to do or they worked or whatever, and I was taking my clothes to the local a laundromat I found, because all the other ones were cash only, but this one, you could put in bills, or uh, they had like an exchange and you could get change out and buy detergent and everything. So I went there, and I'm doing my laundry and I'm waiting, and this what I thought was a girl, but I thought it was a white woman. And dude, I I know how to like tell these people apart. I'm pretty good at that. I'm not easily deceived. And I just saw in my peripheral. I really genuinely thought that was a woman. I just thought she was kind of tall. I'm like, okay, she's about 6 foot. Slim build. She was wearing, or it's he now, but I thought it was a woman wearing
Right.
like sweatpants, a tank top, really like slender build, like feminine, and her head was small, and she had like this like these some facial piercings and like long hair. And dude, I wasn't trying to look at her face, but I genuinely thought, like, in my peripheral, okay, that's probably a chick, whatever. And I do my laundry. I'm walking out to my car, my rental car that I had, and I'm putting my stuff up. And this person walks behind me, and they like trip, and like all their stuff just falls on the ground. And I'm like, oh man, like their bag rips. So I'm like, I'm trying to help them, like get their stuff off the ground. And they say thank you. But as soon as this person said thank you to me, I was like, my like I had like a moment where like the freaking light bulb almost went out. Like I was just like stuck for like half second. Like I just dropped. I was like, what the hell? Like was that? And then I look, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. I thought that was a girl. That was a dude. Like they said thank you. Thank you. And I'm like, but that was not a woman saying thank you. That was a dude. And
Yeah, it's
I'm just
getting
but
crazy,
I
man.
didn't say anything. I didn't say anything bad to him. I was just like, all right, like, be more careful, or like, you have a good day. And he took off. But I was just like, damn, that was a dude. Like, fuck, like, got to be
Wow.
careful, man.
Crazy, man.
I really thought
Like,
that was a woman.
yeah, it's crazy. Like I remember I went to Burger King, pulled up there, and it turns out it's a transformer serving your food. You don't know what word to use it. Like say we called him, oh well, thanks you, man, thanks, man. And he's like, oh, well, I'm actually a girl. It's like, oh, okay, my bad, sorry.
Yeah,
But
that's why I don't even say thanks, woman, or thank you, miss, or thanks, dude. I just say, hey, thanks, or like, you have
right,
a good
right.
day. I don't even say it now, because you never know.
Yeah, man, it's getting wild. But I wanted to mention, I literally this morning I was watching a video. I believe it was put up by a channel. Well, his channel is Horrify, but then he has a backup channel named Horrifying Human Experiences or something. And he did a video where showed this video. These two guys got into an altercation at a damn laundromat or something, and the dude lost his mind and literally got a hatchet out his car and literally cut the dude up and cut his damn head off in the street outside the damn laundromat. It's like, damn, these people out here are just, these people are at their wits' end, man. These people, it's getting bad out here. Everybody is just, like a hair string away from losing their mind, and going on a rampage. It seems it's getting very bad out here. So I don't know how any sane person can sit there and tell themselves, "Oh, well, today America's relatively safe, or the world's relatively safe, or we're not in extreme times." Oh, you know what I find funny? Like that knucklehead, Too Cheesy, we mentioned earlier. That knucklehead literally said it's a sin to go around and tell people that we're living in the end times. We're not living in the last days. This is just, we're not in those times yet. So what the hell is this knucklehead
You gotta,
talking about? Go
dude.
ahead.
It's funny because like I remember T-Mog would say something like, "Dude, ETT's evil, man, because he doesn't want to admit we're in the last days. He wants us to stay here longer." And I would tell him like, "Nah, man, I don't think ETT's bad because he's of the same mentality as you. He believes that we're on the precipice of those days. He's just not giving a date for it. But those Christians out there." They think we got like 500 years, 600 years, 1,000 years. It's in another lifetime as when Christ will return. It's like the only difference y'all two have is basically when he's returning in the near future.
Or
T-Mog
or
put a
or
date
what?
on it
Or
and
I
we didn't.
forgot. I forgot. The only difference we have is the sequence. The sequence.
The
Inside joke.
sequence. The sequence. Yeah, man, you didn't have that sequence. That's why you didn't get it.
Right, right.
That's why
But
you
yeah,
didn't
man,
you
I don't
forgot
know.
us
Like, say for
leaving.
instance, I've known Shreg since I was like 16. Well, 15 or 16 years old. I've knew to him, so I've known about him since like early 2018. We've known about each other and have conversations. And we agreed on many things and also disagreed on some other stuff as well. But we respected that. But yeah, one of the main disagreements that we had is he believed in the sequence. Like everything's going to happen within this amount of time. I was like, no, that's not what the Bible says. So then I'll try to twist it and say, oh, well, in every chapter of the Bible, there's a sequence. It's like, nah, man, you're clearly just reading that into it. And then he tried to say, oh, when he brought up the verse about, was it Matthew 24:29, where it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the Son of Man would return. Then he'll try to say, oh, the tribulation and great tribulation, oh, well, they're just two separate time periods. It's like, nah, man, you're just making that up to stick to this flawed sequence, and not only myself, but many others tried to warn this guy, hey, man, you don't have to throw away all your life possessions and your degrees in the trash like he literally did. No
You did.
exaggeration. It's like, take a chill pill, man. Just chill out a little bit.
Yeah,
The world's not going to end tomorrow. It's not going to end next week. But that doesn't mean we're not in the end times. But it's not going to happen how you see it unfolding. And he just
yeah,
couldn't get it.
like me and LP would talk about it. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I wish the guy was right, but it's not it's I don't think that's gonna happen. And
Right,
I think
absolutely.
he's
Like,
just
like,
gonna
like, say for
disappoint
instance,
himself.
I'll even say it again, Galapagos. Like, hey, look, me and you, we're sitting on here saying the rapture's not going to happen today. But you know what? I wish they were right. I wish that it really did happen on the 23rd, so I wouldn't have to live through this constant BS on a daily basis. But we're just saying that the truth is it's not going to happen. But sure, we wish it did happen. That would be a great thing if I got out of here before they had to go to the damn dentist the next day. That'd be a great thing. But it's just not going to happen that way. That's just not how it's going to be according to the scriptures.
Yeah, yeah, man. And you know, these are really trying times that we're living in now. It's just getting
Oh,
worse
but
and
but,
all
but
that.
Galapagos, remember, for you to say that, that's a sin for you to say that these are trying times and these are the end times, because it's all good today, man, under America.
It's really funny, man, because like they'll Yeah, man. Mainstream Christians, I can't even. It's like they might as well be a separate religion in their own. That's what it seems like. I see them all bickering and fighting on Twitter and stuff, and I'm just like, man, they're always going to be at each other's throats. They're talking about like Christianity revival in the United States, and we're going to all be brought together and fight the people of other faith, fight the Muslims and all. It's like, dude, there's not going to be any unity. There's never been any unity with Christians at all. Why do you think we have all these different denominations? It's even before the migrants or any of that stuff was even an issue. There was always internal schisms between Christianity and other different sects here and there. There was never a unified like body of Christians that were just like, oh yeah, we all agree on the same book on like
Well, you know what
everything.
I find funny with that though? It's like, how could anybody say that the Christians might have a revival and get together on a common ground when here it is, half Christians, what they accept rainbow marriage, half Christians believe that, well, polygamy is okay here, others say it's not, or of course, this one we can't forget is the whole thing about abortion, right? Half of them are with it, half of them are strictly against it. Shit, at this point, they're even letting transformers and rainbows into these churches without question.
Yeah,
So
you
how the
know
hell could
why?
they
You
come
know why I
to
think
a
they are?
mind?
You know why I think they are? I don't think it's just because, they're bugging out. I think that's one of the reasons. I think another reason is because I don't know if you've noticed, bro, no one's going to these churches no more, man. Despite what they say online, not these churches are empty for the most part. Yeah, do they fill up whenever Trump says something or that thing happened on the 10th? Yeah, a lot of people, oh, I'm feeling like I'm in the spirit today. Yeah, you know what? Let's all go to church. Let's all go to mass. And then a week later, yeah, well, it came and went. I don't really feel like going anymore. Like it wears off. That's not a consistent feeling, but that's how it's always been, though. Like even with any faith that you have, you don't always feel like doing it. It's just something you got to do. It's like getting up in the morning. You may not feel like getting out of bed, but it's just something you got to do. But these people, they're just showing who they really are. None of them actually really believe in any of this stuff, man. They're just doing
Right.
it just to save face. Oh yeah, I know I'm going to the kingdom because I, said Jesus and hallelujah like this morning or
Right,
said
right.
my
And you
little
know what I
grace.
find funny though, man? I gotta mention this. You know that knucklehead Jack Smack 77, which is like literally one of the main leaders of the cult of Free Grace. Knucklehead's literally sitting up there, 9,000 videos of saying, "Oh, well, this person here, that person there, they're going to hell because they said that you get to heaven by doing works." It's like, well, how the hell do y'all deal with the fact that Christ literally the main man himself literally told the young man in Matthew 19 that if you do want to enter life eternal, you got to keep the commandments. Like it seems like that is just thrown out the window because all those like, you just got to say Jesus. Like literally, say for instance, Jack Smack literally said, if you believe for a microsecond, literally faster than the Titan submersible imploded on itself. If you just leave for a microsecond in Jesus, then you are saved forever, even if it's just 1 second of time. Wow, that is
That's my
just that's
yeah,
absolutely
and
retarded,
that's
absolutely
my thing.
stupid.
You can see it's like I was getting at earlier is these people are literally trying to debunk the Bible to prove their doctrine. They don't care about what the Bible says. They're just trying to twist it and turn it and like, oh yeah, this actually fits my view. This proves my point here. They're not trying to read it for what it says. They're trying to just read it to spin their doctrine out. It's like, yeah, that's why you got all these people going off. And I give credit to Perry because Perry, he's been long standing with his belief, and he's attracting members now, like in droves.
Right,
Like
right.
a lot of like, remember what I said a couple years ago? I'm like, man, these people are gonna start converting to Perryism because he just kept the same thing moving, and people fall behind it. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, you don't sin. Yeah, you're perfect. You can do whatever you want. He
I mean, shit,
rectified
we,
all
we
things.
can't forget about
Yeah,
the
man.
fact that Perry, he even gives out sweet treats. Well, quite literally, by the way, sweet treats. He'll
You
send
got
you
that
candy.
gift
He'll send you a Pornhub t-shirt with the word Bible in it. He'll probably send prostitutes out to your home if you're a good enough member. He flew that one spineless, brain dead zombie out from the UK to visit him with his
Oh,
own money.
that Asian, that Oriental guy.
Oh yeah, remember
He
that drugged out
he
zombie
flew
on the
that
couch?
dude out.
Both of those
He flew
brain
that
rotted
dude out to
zombies.
smoke some holy kush in his little
Right,
trailer.
right. Right. You know, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Perry sprinkled some homemade holy water over them drugs before he handed them out,
Dude,
right?
probably, man. They probably had a holy drug session, and that guy, Baldhead, he had that guy drive out an hour to see him just so he would log into his account and he could use it to get on your stream.
Wow.
He
It's
couldn't just
crazy,
text the
man.
guy. He couldn't just text the guy, "Hey, this is my login. You can log in." No, he made that dude come out to his trailer park and drive like almost 45 minutes, almost an hour to get out there. That's crazy.
Oh wow. It's crazy, man. Hey, you know that dude's running some type of lab in his garage there. You know, he's cooking up some sweet nose candy in there. You know, oh boy. That's
Dude, you
I
know he
don't even
watches
want to
your
know. I
streams,
don't
right?
even want to know.
You know he watches your streams. He always says he does it, but I swear he's always there because
Well, Galapagos, you know how you can catch him red-handed, which I literally just did? Picture this. I did a video where I entitled it, you know, here's a handmade wooden, a Dollar Tree. Keep that in mind, Dollar Tree, a wooden cross. And I showed off a cross I made from Dollar Tree materials. Literally 2 days later, he puts up a video where he makes a handmade cross decoration. And then he literally put in the title, not from Dollar Tree. It's like, oh, hold up a second. Doesn't that literally prove that dude is literally doing this in response to what I did, which literally was not even a challenge? I was just showing something I made. So, hey,
bro,
look, me and Perry, we basically had a cross off, not a cook off, but a cross off. That's basically what we had. And I think I clearly won that,
dude,
but people can say what they want.
whenever he's like on stream and he's like, "Yeah, you know, I've just been so busy doing a lot of wood carving and stuff and, you know, working on a lot of projects." I just think he's like trying to make carve out. He's carving out like 20 crosses and trying to get a better one than yours. Oh yeah, this will show him. This will show ETT. I can make crosses better than him. He makes like a table, one table for his local police department, so they leave him alone, and then the rest of it is like crosses and all this other Bible stuff that he could
Right,
sell.
right. And you know what I find funny, Galapagos? The knucklehead literally will sit there and whine to his Patreons and subscribers for $200 to pay for his children's food or whatever. But yet
That's
the
crazy.
knucklehead
I didn't know
literally
about
making
that,
$1,000 furniture and giving it away to the local police and
dude.
fire departments for free.
Dude, I did not know that actually because I remember you saying that, and I was just kind of taken back because I'm like, wow, I saw like the last stream I saw of him, he was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm perfect. You know, my family's doing amazing. I got a lot of money, you know, been working, you know, got a lot of money. You know, we're blessed." And I'm like, how did he go from that to okay, guys, please, I need some help. I need like what the
Right, right. You know what I find funny, Galapagos, and I do want to clarify, you know, even though me and Perry don't get along, I'm not going to sit there and, you know, talk about his kids or, you know, his mental problems. That's, you know,
Yeah,
his
yeah,
business.
yeah,
But with that
yeah.
being said, it does seem very strange how literally 2 years ago, he'll sit there and cry about how bad his life is. But then literally 2 months later, oh, you know, I live a fantastic life. Well, what more could I wish for? It's like, what the hell? Then you just go from crying about how bad your life was to now it's all perfect and Jesus. Something's not adding up.
That
It's
guy's
crazy,
got
man.
that guy's got a frequent case of the highs and lows. I don't know, man. Maybe his
Oh man. Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot of
the whole
people
it's
are
a
like that
whole
now,
hey,
you
hey,
know.
look, man, he's like a damn Trinity himself, right? Half schizophrenic, half paranoia, half, you know, ADHD. He is a Trinity himself.
It's like that movie Split. You know, he's it's like that movie Split. You know, one minute
Oh yeah.
he's fine, the next minute he's going crazy, the next minute he thinks he's a girl.
Yo, bro, literally that movie Split, which I saw the sequel, which was what was it, Glass? Pretty good movie, by the way. But I kid you not, that dude, Samuel Owen, that literally is Kevin Windlecrumb from the movie Split. He literally acts like him. He literally looks like him. That's the dude right there.
Hey
That
man,
he is Kevin Windlecrumb.
maybe they based it off of Samuel.
Right, right.
Well, yeah, man. A lot of people are like that these days. I don't know if it's something in the air, something like their medication they're taking, their medication they're not taking. But yeah, man, these people are bugging out, or what the younger folks say, crashing out. It's wild. I mean, somebody's fine one minute, next minute they're like doing something crazy. They're in jail. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, I thought that dude was doing great. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man, I hear you. It's crazy what the hell's going on. Like that flat earth boxer dude, which I don't know what the hell his beef was
Oh,
with me.
Kyrie,
I don't do shit to the
Kyrie,
dude, but he
dude,
don't like me.
the guy that he used to be on stream with all the time. I think his name was Nazy or something, bro. That guy, him and Flat Earth Boxer aren't even friends anymore.
Oh
Like,
wow.
that Nazy guy, I think he had like surgery or something. Like, he had like a health problem. I think it was something with his lungs or something. But I saw a video on his YouTube, and he's like in like full evangelical mode. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, he went down that path, and then Flat Earth Boxer, he he like I think he teaches at a gym now, or he does like something with like Muay Thai, but he's kind of like trying to chill out, but at the same time, um, it seems like he kind of buys. I've talked to him before, way back, like, or I think earlier this year, maybe sometime last year, but I was basically telling him, that all this stuff that's going on now with like the revival of Christianity, whatever in the US, I was telling him way back then that's what they want to happen, but I'm telling him it's not real Christianity, it's fake Christianity. It's not it's all artificial. They're just using this as a scapegoat to further the divide. Eventually what they're going to do is they're going to throw out Christianity because they want to make it they want to make it this like supremacist like type ideology to bash out anybody that has a different faith. But in the end, they themselves are going to get bashed out. And they're going to push it into like this technocracy or what. I'm sure you've seen, stuff on that
Right, right.
whole everything going digital and all that. And they want to make it to where it's basically like there's almost no religion. There's no central like unit with the country. It's just you can believe whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. You'll be left alone in your own space, but you're going to have to adhere to the norms and the rules that the government has set for you. And if you step out of bounds, then you won't get your like universal basic income or whatever
Right,
it
right.
is. Like that kind. That's the future they want. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it looks like it's going there.
Yeah, that's the MOTB
Yeah,
system,
yeah,
right? Revelation 13:16. Which
exactly.
you know what I find funny? Like, how the hell are knuckleheads gonna sit there and literally tell you, like, these preterist guys, oh, that was just, the Roman denarius, right? That was just a Roman denarius coin back, 2000 years ago. That was the MOTB that everybody had to have in order to buy and sell. It's like, knucklehead, if you read the chapter, it literally tells you that it goes inside of your hand. They didn't have the technology to go in your hand. And you know what I find funny? For hypothetical argument, let's just say it was the denarius coin. Well, doesn't that mean that any ancient currency was the MOTB? Like, what about when Christ and the apostles literally used coins to gain access to a city? They paid off the guards to go into a city. So doesn't that mean that they had the MOTB then, since they literally used a coin currency with the Caesar's face on it? You
You
asked them,
know,
oh, man, whatever. I don't know.
and I remember some guy was arguing with you when you were saying that verse about like it would come upon the whole world, and you were
Right.
like, but that was Rome. That clearly wasn't the whole world. And he was like, yeah, dude, but it was talking about at that time when it was written. So it was at that time where all those events were going down. It's like figurative. That was the world in the wording. It didn't mean the whole world. And it's like, well, that's just stupid because the Bible clearly says it's talking about the whole world. It's not talking about just Rome.
Well,
And even
here's another cut though. Here's another cut. Revelation literally says, I believe it's in the second or third chapter. It says, "I'll keep you from that hour of temptation that shall come upon all the world." Listen here, to try them that dwell upon the earth. That's a mic drop moment right there, to try
yeah.
all of them who dwell upon the earth. So how the hell could it just be the Roman Empire if it literally says there's an hour of temptation coming that will try all the people that are on the earth? That's not just Rome. That's a
Yeah,
cut.
and that's my thing is like, okay, if what that guy said was correct, and let's say it was just Rome isolated to that region, that was considered the world. That's where all those events were going down at. Well, is it like the rest of the world's just not going to be affected by the tribulation? Like it's just not going to happen. Like, hey man, you go live in Tanzania, freaking Madagascar, whatever. Hey man, you're fine. You're eating fruit off the trees and just living it out while the other people are getting burned with fire and brimstone. Hey man, you're just chilling on an island. You're
You
cool.
know what I find really bizarre though? But with that being said, what I find so bizarre is these guys will tell you that the judgment of that great city Babylon, that was the judgment of 70 AD when the Romans, under the lead of Titus, sacked the city. That was the fall of that great city in Revelation 18, where the shipmasters stood afar off and watched the smoke of her burning. But yet, hold up a second. Here we are 2,000 years later, and Jerusalem is literally a nation with what, millions of people living there. It's like literally well, not a worldwide power, but it's still certainly a power of some sort, a degree to another, fighting off multiple different countries at one time. Gaza, Iran, Lebanon. The list goes on and on. So how the hell did that great city fall 2,000 years ago? But yet here it is, as powerful as ever in the 21st century. Oh, I don't know, man. It's spiritually burning. Like literally, that's what these knuckleheads said. Well, spiritually, it's still on fire today. But wait, but wasn't the destruction literal 2,000 years ago when the city fell?
Yeah,
Oh, but
yeah.
it's just spiritual now.
And
Stupid.
and you know another thing is like, okay, even if they're talking about, okay, let's say they are right, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, let's say they are correct. So who's to say? And then they'll say, like, oh, Babylon, yeah, that was Babylon, whatever. But they'll acknowledge, Baghdad. It's like, who's to say like, why can't it happen again? Since it says there'll be a future Babylon, and it's clearly the United States. I know a lot of them will say it's the Vatican, whatever, or no, Rome never lost control. They just turned into like the deep state or whatever. I've heard that argument too. That's actually what that Orthodox guy tried telling me. He tried telling me, oh, Rome's still in control. It's just now it's the Jesuit order
Well,
that's running the Vatican and all that and this and that.
Well,
And
with that Galapagos, my old buddy of mine, Rock Upon Him from back, years ago, he used to believe and teach that too. Most Seventh-day Adventists hold that belief that the Vatican is Babylon. But the most puzzling thing about it is they don't realize, well, first of all, there's only 600 people that live in the Vatican. And then second of all, the Vatican City literally holds the world record for being the smallest nation on earth. Out of all 197 countries in the world, the Vatican holds the world record for being the smallest country on earth. So how the hell is the Vatican, being literally 2 square miles long, you could literally run the entire thing in 45 minutes? How the hell is it that great city that rules over the kings of the earth that it says in Revelation 17, verse 18? How the hell does that line up? And then they'll say, oh, well, maybe 2,000 years ago. But the problem with that is that Babylon's talking about modern time, not 2,000 years ago. So whatever way they slice the cake, as I like to say, the argument just does not add up. It just falls flat on
yeah,
its face any way you
yeah,
look
and
at it.
it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. And at this point, if you believe that, I feel like you're just coping because you're clearly, you have to have the blinders on to not see like revelation happening today. And
Oh,
you
but I
can
forgot.
clearly,
We're in sin to say that, though. We're in
yeah,
sin to
we're
say
we're
that it
we're in
happened.
sin, but we're also in the kingdom too at the same time. Like this is
Right.
also the kingdom. It's like, man, okay, so God's gonna make us like get the chip and all that. Like, I guess, hey, that's part of the being in the
Well,
kingdom.
Galapagos, you know how I completely cut this guy up? He was absolutely tap dancing around them skibbies like the bottom half of Betty Ripson.
Betty
Hey,
Rips.
listen, if listen here, Mr. Too Easy, if you are watching, listen up. You don't know them skibbities. You don't know them scriptures. You can skibba these nuts. You can skibba these nuts. That's what you can do, my friend, Mr. Too Cheesy.
Oh
But you know
man.
what? I completely cut this guy to shreds because I asked him, hold up a second. Let's logically examine what you're saying. If you're going to say, let's just hypothetically say that even if we weren't in the end times, how could you say that it's a sin to go around and teach people that we should be looking for and hastening unto these end times events? I brought up 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 10 on down, where Peter literally says that, we as believers, we should be looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Lord, when the heavens are going to be vanished away with fire and smoke, and the elements are going to burn everything up. It says that we should, as believers, be looking forward to that day. So I asked him, "Well, so was Peter in sin 2,000 years ago for teaching the Christians that they should be looking out for that day?" And, as I already suspected, there was no answer he could give for that question, because it completely refutes his complete nonsense that he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know what they're gonna say when the government, rolls out this new system and they're like, "Hey, man, if you want to get on these benefits or get this free money, you got to take this chip." They're probably just gonna be like, that's there." You know what? They're gonna be posting videos saying, "This is why the chip is not the mark." Like, you may have to take it, but this is why it's not the mark. It actually happened back in the Roman times. So, yeah,
Well,
you
you know
could
what
take
I
that.
find
You'll be
funny
all
though,
right.
Galapagos? There's some of these Hebrew Israelite camps, which I give Great Millstone credit. They're right on a lot that they say. There's, of course, some issues here or there, but one thing they certainly have right is the MOTB being the micro C hip. I got to say it that way to avoid the algorithm, because they'll
Yeah.
catch on. But some of these other camps teach, oh, well, it's a embargo, it's Christianity, it's paper money. It's like, well, how the hell could it be any of those things if it literally says that everybody's going to be forced? It's not just talking about religious people. So how could anybody say it's like a spiritual thing? Oh, it's all, a spiritual mark. But
Dude,
how
I
the hell
think
are the unbelievers going to take this spiritual mark? How the hell is an atheist going to take a spiritual mark if they reject anything spiritual altogether?
yeah, yeah, I've seen people say that too. They say the mark in the forehead is like, it's like your mentality or something. It's the spirit you have on the inside. That's what it is. But I think the camp IUIC, I think they went from saying that that's not the mark to that is the mark, and I don't even know what they're saying now. But I remember they were causing a stir because they were getting exposed for that.
Yeah, well, I remember the leader of their organization, Nate. They call him Nate the Snake. I call him Nate the Steak. When Christ comes back, he's going to be Nate the Steak if he doesn't change his ways. But they used to talk shit about GMS, make fun of. Like, I believe one dude even put a potato chip on his hand and said, "Oh, look, guys, I got the MOTB. Right, look, that's the chip right there." But now they're starting to change their tune a little bit. Now they're starting to change
Yeah,
their tone.
yeah.
Here we are in
I mean
2025. Now
I
they're
mean,
starting to
hell,
say,
dude, I remember when that juice came out, they were pushing that IUIC, they were pushing that on their members saying, "Oh, if you don't get it," like, I think, who's that guy that Hebrew Israelite in New York, that guy that's always going on those podcasts and talking. I think
you
he
talk about
took that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, let me tell you about that
Yeah,
Tazariak.
yeah,
What he
Tazariak.
said, yeah, I'll tell the audience what happened was Tazariak said his leader, I believe the leader name is Johanna, right? The guy who's the top over Tazariak in that organization. He went out listen here, for his own personal health and safety. He got the MO. He got the juices for his own personal self and safety. So let's understand this. So on one hand, the white man's the devil, can't trust the government. But on the other hand, oh yeah, it was for his own safety and health. Wow, that is just.
Dude,
And you know what
that's
I find
crazy.
funny? I watched an interview he did with this other individual, Gorilla Hebrew, and in the conversation, he told Alazar, aka Gorilla Hebrew, he told him, "Well, I think that you Sakari guys, you owe us a apology for making fun of Johanna for taking that juice. I believe he is owed an apology for y'all making him feel bad that he took those roosters." Wow, that is just sad, man. That's just sad.
It is,
Oh,
man,
you
and
know what I find funny, Galapagos? I called into one of his streams like maybe 8 months ago, and I asked him, like, "What's your the organization IUIC, or excuse me, ISUPK? Um, what's your stance about like the flat Earth or globe Earth?" Tazariak literally told me, "Well, I asked him about the heliocentric or geocentric, and he's like, well, I don't know what geocentric or heliocentric mean. I don't know what those words mean." Wow, it's real funny, man.
oh my gosh, that's
It's
crazy.
crazy. But
But
this is like a top of the line teacher, though. Wow.
yeah, top of the line, dude. Those guys put on the theatrics, man. They train like they're in the army or whatever in the field, like fighting and stuff. It was so funny. I saw a little documentary on them. It was
Did you
hilarious.
see the documentary that I believe it was like Tyler Oliveira? When one of these popular dudes went
He
out
was
to
he
the
was
school and
asking,
interviewed him.
yeah, he was asking to Zaryak. He was like, "Hey, so can I be a Hebrew Israelite?" He was like, "Nope." He's like, "You gonna be a slave?" Or he told him something like that. He
Yeah,
was
you know
like,
what I
"Man,
found
what do
funny?
you?"
When he went to the school, he asked Tazaryak, "What about these weapons on the wall?" And Tazaryak pointed at the battle axe or the mace and told him, "Oh, that's for you, right? That's gonna be for you in that day."
Oh my god! But
And then, of course, they step on the picture of white Jesus as they go inside of the school. Which
that's hilarious.
fair enough. That's not actually the Christ. That's a fake Christ
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
So
We
fair
we
enough.
know we
Fair
know
enough.
that's not what he looks like.
But it
Yeah.
was entertaining watching it. And don't get me wrong, the ISUPK, some things they are right on, but many things they are wrong on. As I said, you got to take a lot of these groups with a grain of salt. Sometimes they'll get things right, other times they'll get things wrong. As a person who's watched these guys, these groups for like almost 10 years, over the years you find out a lot of these guys, they oftentimes change up their doctrine. Like, I'll give you an example. The Genesis camp, which is a break off from the Sakari, they now teach that the elect are not going to have eternal life in the kingdom of heaven. It's like, what the hell?
Dude, I saw that.
What the
Dude,
hell are y'all talking about?
yeah, yeah, I saw that, man. That's crazy. And um but no, but before we go to that, I wanted to mention too with IUIC, I think they're the ones that were probably going off one of the worst because when that thing came out, they were telling their members to get it, and some of them were getting sick, and some of them died. Like they came out and said it.
Wow.
Like it was a pretty big number. I think it was like 20 of their members died, and
Wow,
then
that's a
they
lot.
backtracked. They backtracked, and they were like, "All right, all right, all right. Hey, you don't have to. If you don't want to get it, don't get it. You know, it's not a requirement to be in the camp, whatever." And they backtracked on it, but they now they're trying to act like they didn't, enforce it and all that. And I think now they're pushing the doctrine that it is the thing that GMS says that it is, but it's just
Right,
crazy.
right. They're starting to see that. And I actually learned about the MOTB back from like I believe I learned about it in like 2013, 2014, from like Christians on YouTube. It just so happened that Great Millstone happened to teach the same thing, but I knew about some of this stuff years before I knew about Great Millstone. But anyway, let me read a comment here from someone. Kiwi in the chat said, I wonder what the minor Shreg is doing these days. He probably left the Bible and truth behind. I mean, hell, man, who the hell knows? We all try to contact T Mog to see what's going on, but he don't talk to really anybody. So we don't know where the hell he's at. Hell, if I had to take a guess, I would imagine he's back in Hinduism, believing in 300 different gods like he grew up believing. That's what his family believed in, so perhaps he went back to believing in that. I definitely know he's back doing his golfing and Chipotle. I can 100% bet
Yeah,
that.
I don't think he ever gave that up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, he probably threw out the Bible completely, man. He probably pulled a mic and a Primal Man.
I mean, hey, we tried to warn him.
Those
We're
guys
like,
are
look,
off living
man.
in the mountains somewhere. Like I don't know what they're doing, living in a cave. But
Yeah, yeah.
you remember Mike? Like
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
trying to do way too much, man. Like that guy was blown into a ram's horn, and uh, he had his fringes on, and he was making those hoods that apparently protect from like frequencies or
Right,
something like
right.
that. I remember LOP. I think he bought one, and he was like, "Dude, it smelled like smoke. It smelled like cigarettes. It was disgusting." but but
Yeah.
yeah, man, they're living in a hut somewhere, duking it out. I
Yeah,
don't know,
I
man.
mean,
I knew
shit,
Mark was
that's
gonna go off because he threw out one book, and I'm like, he's about to throw out the other, and he did, and he threw it all out. And
yeah, I remember that, man. He went from believing in Jesus and then to, now the New Testament is completely fake. Now it's just the Old Testament.
he was
It's like, what the
basically a
hell?
Jew. He was basically trying to be a Jew, and then he threw that out, and then he was just like nothing. Like, damn.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just it's wild what's going on.
Yeah, it's just gonna
Yeah,
keep getting
we
more.
have someone in the back chat here. I believe this is Lion of Judah. I'll bring him up. He said, "When Judah, when you come up here, clarify your statement. You said in the back chat that well, the towers that they were hollow on the inside. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you're welcome to come up here and explain what you mean by that, but let's try to keep it on that topic. So I'll add him up here. Bear with me a second. Yo, you there?
Yeah,
Okay, Judah, how's your night going?
good.
All right, cool. So clarify, you made a statement in the back chat saying that the towers from September 11th, that they were like hollow on the inside. What do you mean by making that statement?
So when I said they were hollow, the twin towers were basically the none of the floors are finished in the twin towers. The twin towers just put together, so they were hollow on the inside. You could
Okay,
look it
but
up, the hollow
okay,
towers.
okay, but real quick though, I gotta ask you on that. I literally know people in my personal life who have been to the Twin Towers and literally been through the tower to the top and ate at the top of the building at the restaurant they had up there. So like how would you explain that? That there's people I know in my family who's even went there and ate at the top of these towers before. So like what do you mean by
Have,
were
have,
not
well,
finished?
have you ever heard of a guy called Fake Nukes Phil? He exposed like how like if you look up to like the twin hollow twin towers, they showed the sun beaming in through the twin towers, but you seen like the floors are empty. And if you look it up, like none of the floors are done either before
Well,
the collapse,
couldn't
because there
that?
was somebody was.
Okay, but with that being said, couldn't that be maybe it's a construction video, or maybe they were working on a couple floors of it? Like, how would that not be a reasonable possibility?
Well, he broke it down. Basically, the some of the floors were like dummies they pushed out of those 9/11 towers. Because if you see the body splat on the ground, when the body hits the ground, it
All right, well,
splats completely.
real
It's not
quick,
going to remain as fully
Judah,
intact.
hey Judah, real quick, if you can watch the wording you use on here, because I don't want the video to be flagged. I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, man, I mean, couldn't it just be that some crazy guy on the internet just made a conspiracy on it?
Well, not that I believe everything fake nukes Phil say. Like for an example, fake nukes Phil believe that nukes are fake, and I don't believe that. But the
Right.
9/11 towers, like how he's basically saying how like the dummies were being pushed out of the buildings, because if those are real people, wouldn't they splat on the ground? Because he showed
Okay,
like the people
but
on the
Judah,
ground, but he did was
I gotta
intact.
stop you there. I gotta stop you there because as a person who has done much research on the topic, there literally is video
You can
of that
find the
happening. Of
aftermath
people, yeah,
photos.
there literally is video of that. So the guy just doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's just cherry picking information because there is literal images and videos on the
Yeah,
internet
yeah.
of the body
I was
of
actually gonna
people.
say that. I was gonna go into that. Like on Reddit, I remember back in the day, you could literally find aftermath like shot photos like right when it was going on of the people once they hit the ground and they're they're not intact. That's I'm not gonna get graphic, but
Right,
the
right.
ones I saw were not intact, and I believe that was real. The part I will say is I do believe it was partially a demolition, but I'm not one of the people that will say that, oh, I don't think anybody was in there, anybody was working. I think like nobody died or anything like that. I don't believe that. I think
Yeah,
that
I
was
definitely
real.
agree with you. Like say for instance, I agree from my research that the government was involved with bringing the buildings down, but the planes were real. There really were about 3,000 people who lost their lives. All of that's real. None of that's fake, but I can agree the government had involvement within the situation. Now, to the extent, that's up for conversation. But, for people saying that, oh, nobody really died, the planes were CGI, the
And here's
buildings were hollow, that's just, that doesn't make sense.
yeah, and I got a counterpoint
Okay,
to
I did look
that.
it up. I did look
Well,
it up
real
from the
quick,
wreckage, and it
Judah,
is actual.
let Galapagos comment real quick, and then
Yeah,
I'll
hold on.
give you the
I
mic.
just got to finish up a thing right here. So let's take the argument that there was nobody in there, right? Let's take the argument that there was nothing in there. It was just they just knocked down the building. No, all of that was CGI. Everybody was a hologram. Well, even if you don't want to count the people that were in the building, and even if you don't want to count the people, that they said were on the planes, count the people that were there in the vicinity of the building going down, because there's people and first responders that didn't necessarily perish on that day, but they got like cancer and stuff like that from all the debris, and got sick, and a lot of them died maybe like 10-15 years later, and some of them died as
Man.
recently as maybe a couple of years ago from they
And real
developed
quick,
heart
let
issues
me
from
add
being
a
exposed to
bonus
all that.
example onto
So
what
people did.
Galapagos
So
is
even
saying.
if people did,
Galapagos, real quick, did you
yeah.
know that the angry pepper was actually there when the towers were hit? He was actually there to help, evacuate people. So even the angry pepper was there in person so he can attest to this.
Yeah, I think I heard him talk about that a little bit before. But yeah, man. I even had a coworker a long time ago. He was retired EMS, retired firefighter from New York, and he was in the area when that was going down. Like that was around the time he first started, when that happened. And he would tell me about it and like how surreal it was. So um and he had friends that died not from being at the event, but just like I said, being in the vicinity. They got exposed to all those like toxic vapors and stuff from the building, the
Right,
debris.
right.
You breathe that stuff in, and they ended up coming down with like cancer years later, and they passed away
Yeah, I
from it.
mean, if not to cut you off, but if you watch some of these videos from like the ground level, you can see the clouds of smoke are literally so thick. If you're in it, you literally turns to like pitch black at certain times, and it's like thick fog. Now, if you breathe that in, that's going to do some serious damage over time.
Because it's hard
Yeah.
to get the toxins out of your lungs too. Like if you get
See,
metal fever, if you're a welder, you breathe in metal, it's hard to get it out your lungs.
right, but go ahead, Judah. You were going to say something in response to
So
what
yeah, I did look up. So I did find the actual photo of that, the actual. I'm not gonna say bodies or whatever, but actually, I did look up the actual photo of some wreckage.
right,
So I do take that back. There probably were real casualties, and I was probably wrong about that.
right.
But I do know it's an inside job to go over there to the Middle East to steal their oil.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
yeah,
think it was
Yeah.
for.
yeah.
We agree with that.
That's true, Judah. That's true, but that doesn't correlate with what you said about the buildings being hollow. That's what sparked my interest because you said that in the back chat. I was curious because I haven't heard anybody make a statement like that before. So I just wanted to see where you got that from.
Yeah, look like okay. Looks like fake news. Phil was probably wrong about that. I mean, even if you know a
Right.
person that been inside the towers, then yeah,
Now, if this dude, what do you say his channel was?
fake nukes Phil.
Let me take a guess. Does he believe the planes were CGI?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. He believes that the plane is CGI.
So do you agree with him on that, or was he wrong on that?
Well, see, I don't know because first of all, they did an experiment to see if planes could go through buildings way before it happened. I don't know if
Well,
you know about
what
that.
building? But real quick, what building did they use? Because I wouldn't imagine it'd be the towers because if people
Oh no, no,
saw
it's
a
not.
plane
It's
come,
so
okay,
they made a metal structure, right? And then they
right,
flew a test jet into it on
right,
in some desert military site to see if planes go through towers. I can send a
yeah.
link to you on Discord.
Well,
It's a simple
I
video.
don't need to see it because I'm aware that tests like this have been done. But you were saying it's like a hologram they tested.
I didn't say it's a hologram. I don't know if it's a plane or not. He claims
Okay.
it wasn't a real plane because there's no plane wreckage found, which is stupid. I clearly did find some plane wreckage found in the
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
let me comment
in the
on that though,
debris.
because let's acknowledge this real quick. That's an unreasonable statement. First of all, it hit the building going like 300 miles an hour. It would tear apart on impact, and then not to mention it's buried with what millions of pounds of rubble, and it's also being burned. Like, did you know that literally for months and months and months on end, the structure underneath, like where they were trying to clear the area, it was still burning literally for months
Wow.
afterward. Look this up. Like the heat was still intense down there. It was still burning underneath the rubble. You can look that up. So yeah, it's very reasonable why there would be no remains of of the aircrafts left over, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, because
Yep.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
because what was gonna say, I forget what. Because now fake nukes Phil that believes that the whole event was CGI and it's fake, right? You're in for a treat. Now this guy at the same time is dumb enough to believe that the juice that you put in your arm is okay. That the people fake their
Wow.
injuries
Oh
from
my
that
Well,
taking that
bro,
juice.
why,
I
Judah? Why do you watch him though? Like, couldn't you realize that he's a
I used
knucklehead
no
and
no
doesn't know
see
what he's talking about?
I watched him two years ago. I stopped watching him 2 years ago because he was stupid. Because I stopped watching him when he started saying that the Gaza war was fake, like they was using baby dummies. I mean,
Oh
that was
my
Wow,
clearly
gosh,
too stupid.
dude!
I mean, those are real
I've
crazy,
people.
seen
man,
people
crazy.
posting. I saw accounts on
I
Twitter
don't watch him
posting
no
that,
more though.
and they are just bugging out, man. Like, but yeah, the thing about the juice, I started using heavy discernment with truthers during that time on Twitter because I remember, a bunch of prominent, quote unquote truthers would come out and say, "Yeah, that's the real psyop. Is it's all for division, and there's nothing in there. It's just saline or it's a." What is it? The placebo. It's all a placebo. All those reactions you see on the videos, they're all fake. None of they're actors. None of that's real. When literally, I know people IRL that have had bad reactions to it, and I know personally a friend of mine, her mom's sister, she passed away from it like a week
Yeah,
or two after getting it.
I know
And
people too.
she
I
had
know
no
3 people
history
at
of health
least who
ailments,
died.
nothing until she took that thing. So yeah, that's easily disputed right there.
Like, let me add something on that. I literally have a family member who literally the day after they got the rooster, they ended up coming down sick the day afterwards. Like literally the day afterwards, they ended up having some issues. You know,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Judah, just you said you don't watch him anymore, but yeah, I'd advise avoiding people like that. Like, say for instance,
Well, I
like
used
Eric
to watch.
Uday, take him with a grain of salt. Like he did a video last week entitled, "Oh, nukes are fake." It's like, okay, well, obviously on that he's stupid. When he says dinosaurs are fake, okay, obviously he's stupid on that. But if he does a video explaining, like maybe flat earth or how history of such and such thing, maybe I'll consider what he's saying on that, but on these other things you got to take what he says with a grain of salt. Same thing with RV truth as well, but that's a whole nother case.
Yeah, I used to watch it. So when I first got into the truth, I don't know if you ever watched my early videos, because if you notice, my early videos are different from my new videos. During my early videos, I used to be heavily deep rooted into conspiracy theory because I used to
Right.
watch a guy called End Times. What's his guy name? He was Mordecai. He's
Watchmen.
Revolution End Times Church.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
have you ever
I don't
watched
know,
or heard the guy before?
I don't know who he is, no, but what
He
about
has
him?
a Hebrew tattoo on his forehead, and he.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think you know who
I
he
don't
is.
know the guy, no.
So he'll talk a lot about conspiracy theories, right? So as soon as I started getting into the truth the first time, me being ignorant, I used to like believe in all types of conspiracy theories. I used to believe in the CERN portal. I used to believe in I used to believe in the CERN portal. I used to believe that the CERN portal was gonna open up hell on earth.
Which is supposedly going to happen today, of course, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I don't believe in the CERN portal no more, but I used to talk about it a lot on my
Right,
YouTube channel.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I used to believe like every event was fake too. Yeah, because I used to like believe that nukes were fake too. Because even on my older videos, you'll hear that I used to believe that nukes are fake because because now I used to believe that nukes are fake is because GOCC and the rest of like the other Israelites to say the nukes are fake, and it's government propaganda to create a new world order.
Well, hold up.
But now
Isn't
I
a
know,
GOCC, aren't those the same cats saying that you have to physically go to the land of Israel to get delivered in the end? Like, aren't those the same
yeah,
dudes saying that?
yeah, yeah, because I was following GOCC at the time.
Okay, go ahead.
No, yeah, you do have to go to a physical place on Earth because you have to because basically what their doctrine is if you the Holy Spirit will guide you to the physical place on earth, you know. So if you don't go to that physical place on earth, and you're not,
Well,
then yeah, you
well,
won't be
what
saved,
would they say
because that's where
about
God will isolate you.
Well, say for instance, what would they say about people that follow their ministry that might be living in India making $2 a day? Obviously, they can't, get $900 to go visit Jerusalem and start a life there. It's like, what would their message be to someone like that
Well, you
who's
can't do
sincerely
that there
delivered?
neither, because they won't let you.
Who wouldn't let
Gentiles
you?
inhabit the land. Yeah, because the Gentiles will inhabit that land until Yahushua returns. So their doctrine is clearly off.
Yeah, I mean their doctrine's definitely in the gutter on that to say like, and it's nothing new. Like there's people even asking me recently, like, well, do we have to leave America to be saved? Like, say for instance, Revelation 18 verse 4 says, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues." So some guys think that you actually have to leave Babylon in order to be saved at the end. But the truth is, they just don't understand what the text is saying. It's talking about mentally separating your mind from the wine that she is indoctrinating us with. And I will say this as well: if somebody wants to leave America and go somewhere else, there's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, that might be a smart idea to do, but it's not required to be
Yeah,
saved. The Bible says we're going to be saved out of Babylon, so that
yeah.
proves
Because I
that.
was
Go ahead.
no, you can talk. Sorry, I shouldn't
Yeah,
interrupt it.
no, you're good, but I'm saying the Bible says we're going to be delivered from out of Babylon. So, like, if we had to leave Babylon, well, how the hell are we going to be delivered from Babylon? The believers who are here, if they all have to supposedly go to Jerusalem or somewhere, it wouldn't make sense.
And how are they even gonna get over there when
Yeah,
that place is gonna get destroyed? Clearly, like, and I think it even says it does get destroyed because the Israel that it's talking about and the kingdom, it's not the same Israel that they're talking about uh, right now.
Right,
Uh,
right.
that's
That's a good point.
that's called Israel. Like it's that whole land
Yeah,
is
that
going to
that's
be
why, like
swept and
Galapagos, a good point
revamped.
on that is the Bible calls it New Jerusalem, right? That
Yeah,
comes down out
exactly.
of heaven in Revelation chapter 21 and 22. So it's obviously not going to be the physical land over there where the rats are living today. That's obviously not going to be the land, um, or I should say, it's not going to be the physical city that Christ is ruling from.
You know what's kind of funny? You bring this up. You know what you made me remember? I
What's
remember
that?
you were having a conversation with David, and people don't know who David is. He's a real quote unquote
Oh yeah,
he's a real quote unquote Jew. Like
right,
he knows the Yiddish and all. But
yeah,
I remember him saying, no, that land is talking about like Israel, like right now, like that is what it's going to look like. How it looks now, that's how it's going to look. When the kingdom gets established. And I remember you were trying to talk to him like, no, David, that's not true. That's not going to be. That's not the first of all. That's not the land that's talking about in the Bible. And two, it's not going to look like how it looks now. That whole place is going to be revamped. It's going to be it's going to be basically terraformed, if you want to say that. But he was like, no, no, that's not going to happen. And dude, I kid you not, that same year, that's when the October, that's when
yeah,
that
yeah.
thing happened. It happened later on, and it's been back and forth ever since. It's picked up in that region. But
Yeah, absolutely. Which,
gives
by the
more
way, I wonder
it
if he
just gives
still
more
thinks
credence
that
to
we're
what
going to
you're
get there by way of land ships as well.
saying.
Inside joke.
Dude, every time I hear that land ships thing, I just think of that flotilla that Jabba the Hutt had whenever
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
taking Luke to the Sarlacc pit and they were
Right,
flying,
right,
or Pirates of the Caribbean when Jack Sparrow came out of Davy Jones' locker and he was driving that ship on sand.
right, right.
yeah. It'd be
Uh,
pretty cool if we had something like that, though.
that's
Land
yeah,
ship.
that'd
Yo,
be
Judah, you don't know what we're laughing at, man. You weren't watching us back in the time. You don't you
but
Star
don't go
Wars.
you don't know this one.
it was just hilarious, like
Well,
the timing. He brought up
I did
land.
watch Star Wars 1 and 2, but I got to get caught up on all the Star Wars series, though. I got to leave. I left off at 2.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably don't know David. This guy was around, I want to say, what, maybe 2 years before you started watching over here. So yeah, you won't know the dude that we're talking about. But yeah, man, it's so bizarre to me, these doctrines and theories that these knuckleheads on YouTube are just convincing themselves. Like one dude, oh, we're in the kingdom, everything's sweet under Jesus today. Other people, oh, you just got to say you believe in Jesus and you're saved forever. Don't believe these guys telling you to do good things. Like literally, I seen somebody say, the Christian literally told me on live stream, people who are teaching to obey Christ's laws, you are teaching to disobey Christ. Like, what the hell? What the hell are these people smoking? To tell people to obey Christ means you're telling them to not obey Christ. I mean, this is just, it's insane to me. It's just insane to me what knuckleheads on YouTube will sit up there and lie to people about. But these are the people getting, 50 people watching them live. Meanwhile, us over here speaking about facts and, clear evidence, we only get what, like maybe 10 people watching at one time? But it shows people are drawn to that drama and drawn to
Yeah,
to what feels good. They don't want to
yeah,
hear the truth.
yeah.
They
They just
want
like
they
outrage
want to hear
drama.
what tickles the ears, for lack of a better term.
Exactly, man. That's why all these truth channels that are posting like new fake psyop, like with the clickbait with the AI photo, they get like
Right.
hundreds of thousands of views, 30,000 views in a day. And then you see the prepper channels. World War III is happening right now, or it's happening. The missiles just got. He just said this, and then boom, just people love to be scared, man. Like despite what people say, they love to be scared. They love to be angry. They love to be like things that tickle their emotions. They love to feel that way, man. They love it. It gets like a rile out of them. That's why they're all, get a dopamine reaction when they click on these videos and watch them. Oh man, China might do this. It's like, okay, on one hand, it's good to be informed, right? It's good to know what's going on in the world. It's good to know like what's going on in your near, uh, in your country, whatever, what have you.
Right.
But you shouldn't jump at every little thing that comes out and gets uploaded on the YouTube, Facebook, whatever, because um if you really like let that stuff affect you, you're not gonna like feel good. You're not gonna want to do anything. But these people, man, they do it to themselves. They get riled up over every little thing. And dude, it's funny because I remember the Angry Pepper even was on his stream one time saying, guys, he was talking about mental health and he was like, guys, look, if you're feeling some type of way, you can even unsubscribe from my channel. I know a lot of these truth channels are, trying to, post all the fear porn and rile you up. But guys, I don't do that here. I try not to do that here. I'm sorry. I just like to report things. And then literally in his next video, it was like a photo of like the army or something, and he's like, "They're doing it. They're unleashing them." And I'm like, "What the?" He's literally doing what he just said. I don't do.
Right. It's hilarious,
But
man. Or this other dude, the Canadian Pepper, right? The Canadian Pepper.
oh man, I hate that
He's
man.
Oh
over
yeah, I
there
used to
every
watch
night.
him
I
Oh,
too.
hate when I see
World
that
War
guy
III
on my
started
feed.
tonight, or Article 5 has been launched.
And
You know, it's
that just
hilarious,
gives more
man.
ammo to my point. Like you see his videos, how many views he gets in such a short time. Like people love that. They gravitate towards that. It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
It's
I hear you. Which, as you said, of course, it's good to be informed. You don't want to be left in the dark, but it doesn't mean the world's going to end tomorrow.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is ironic
exactly.
I say that because, of course, today's the 23rd, which there's millions of people who literally do think the world might end today, ironically enough. Somebody said earlier, let me see if I can find that comment. Somebody said earlier that, tonight, millions of people are going to be, disappointed when this rapture doesn't happen. And they're right. They're absolutely right with what they're saying. That there's going to be millions of people, out here in the world. Oh, here it is. Right. He said millions after tomorrow, millions are going to be depressed. Right. Yeah. Millions of people around the world are going to be, lost, in the mind, mentally, and some even physically. It's gonna get bad, but we
Oh,
try to tell people,
it
hey, look,
already is. Yeah, it already is getting bad, man. And it's like the same thing me and you were saying way back in those 2020 days when we were up on here on stream with the LOP and T-Mog and all them. We were saying back then, like, if things are this bad now, I don't even want to know what like 5 years looks like. And here we are, like 5 years later, and we're even still saying it, man. If things are like this, I can't imagine how much worse it can get. But
Right, right. But
we're gonna be
remember though,
surprised.
Galapagos, right? Shrek would say, "Oh, well, if ETT is saying that it could happen in 2 or 3 years from now, oh, he don't really believe in the Bible.
He's
It's going to happen
Antichrist. He's
tomorrow or next
he's
week."
a demon. He's Antichrist.
Have you guys ever heard of Ned Flanders from The Simpsons?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they kind of remind me of, like the people who believe in the 23 Rapture. Ned
right.
Flanders.
Dude,
Oh, you
I
darn
actually
diddly do will be out of here tonight.
Right.
Ned
That's
Flanders.
funny, man. But yeah, when y'all were talking about like the truth channels, I wanted to bring up Jurassic Liars.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
I remember that knucklehead.
Ruby, you know,
Yeah,
his
Ruby.
favorite top, truther channel. He was tell us, man, we're gonna have to take the Elvis mark, and Elvis Presley's coming back, on that Seattle Sky
Wow.
Needle. Well,
People
Oh
actually
man.
believe that.
August 11th, it already passed.
Yeah, what I
Jurassic
find funny
Liars
though,
was
Galapagos.
saying again there was supposed to be some massive earthquake in Seattle, so massive that it was going to split the state in half from
I
Seattle
mean, shit. He
down to
he must have
California.
Jurassic Liars. He must have been quoting that Revelations. What is it, 17 or 16? Right, a mighty earthquake, so great and powerful that no man's ever felt it before. Right, that must have been what that knucklehead was prophesying about.
He was saying there was supposed to be an earthquake that was supposed to stretch all the way from British Columbia all the way down to California, and it
Wow,
would split Seattle in half. And
crazy man.
the Great Tribulation would kick off after that, and it was supposed to
Wow.
happen on
You know
August
what I
11th.
find funny? Me and Shreg, we actually invited Jurassic Liars to join live, but we said, "Hey, okay, look, man, we can't call you on the phone overseas because we don't have international calling." So we sent him a link for StreamYard, and he's like, "Well, that's too difficult for me." How the hell is that too damn difficult? There's literally 5-year-olds on YouTube right now as I speak talking to their schoolmates on StreamYard. So you're telling me there's this 50-year-old dude can't figure out how to use a StreamYard? I mean, come on. This is getting crazy, man. This is
Oh my
getting just
Is he a
god!
boomer?
unbelievable.
Is he a
Yo,
boomer? Because
yo,
I
I
notice
can't
most
I can't
boomers
forget
struggle
about
with
this real quick.
technology.
I have to tell you guys about this while we're talking about the rapture. I had a debate with this knucklehead that goes by the name of oh damn, what is it? Y'all know that old dude that has that long beard? Oh, Ace Fio, that's what it is, Ace Fio. And he was saying that look, at the end the rapture is going to happen. Every person in the world is going to be beamed up, even the murderers who are in the El Salvador cot prison who literally killed like 50 people each. They're all going to be risen up at that rapture at the end. Every person in the world, everybody's getting rapture when Christ comes up here.
People
I
actually
mean,
believe
i,
that.
I, could, I couldn't
Was
believe it.
that
I literally
was he like
was
Sweet
so
Grace, or
shocked when I heard that. Go ahead.
is he one of those ones that was saying like uh dang man, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but I
He
remember he
believes
was
in
saying something.
universalism, that
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
is
dude.
saved.
Was that guy that was on your channel that was like ETT? I know you may not want to be saved or whatever, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to be saved. Whether you want to be saved, you don't want to be saved, you're all going to heaven. Even the people
I
that are
believe I
atheists
believe that
are
was
going
one
to
of his
heaven.
associates, like
He
one of
was,
his
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so.
people, but wasn't
I just
exactly
remember
him,
he
but
was
one of his
here.
fellows.
Yeah, I just remember he was here in the stream one time, and he was like, "Yep, those Jews, those Muslims, they can fight all they want. They're going to heaven too. I'm gonna meet them in the kingdom, and we're gonna have a good time." And and I'm just like, they're just like they're all. He's like, "Yep, even if you don't want to go to heaven, you're going to heaven. I hate to tell you, break it to you, but you're all going to heaven. Even the people that aren't doing anything good, yep, they're going there too." So.
Wow, it's crazy to me. Like, how the hell do these guys deal with the verses in the Bible where Christ literally said, like, say for instance, Matthew 7:21, in red letter it says, "Not everybody that calls upon him is going to be saved. Not everybody that calls upon him is going to make it to the kingdom of heaven." So how the hell is everybody going to the kingdom of heaven? Like how the
I
hell
Must be
does
on
don't
some
that
know,
work?
damn meth or
man.
something to
Uh,
believe that.
I guess everybody has a golden ticket to salvation, I guess.
Or you know what? I'm going to inflict triple damage. I'm going to bring up another verse. What about Matthew 7:13, which says, "Narrow is the gate that leads to life, and only a few find it. But broad is the path that leads to destruction, And there are countless people who are on that. What the hell do they make of that verse? Oh, everybody is on that narrow path. Well, why did it say that only a few find it, though? And many are on that broad path that leads to what? Not life eternal, but to damnation, to destruction. That's what the Bible says. These guys, as I said, they just don't know them skibbities. They don't know them scriptures. That's just what it is.
Oh man, they're deluded, man. They don't know what's going on. And then I remember Perry in a recent stream. He just showed up on my feed, and I was watching it, and he was saying the same thing. Like, man, people hate me when I tell them the truth that they can be perfect and it's fine, and they don't got to be a sinner no more, and we can all just be perfect. And all this would stop if we just realized we're perfect. I'm like, dang, man, Perry could just stop the end times right there if we all adopted his doctrine.
Yeah, but the ironic twist is like most people really do believe what he's saying. Like if you go up to people on the street and ask them,
Oh, I
"Do you
know.
sin?" "Oh no, I don't sin. I don't commit sin as a Christian." Jesus, yeah, as long as you believe in Jesus, you're saved eternal. As long as you believe, he covered all your sins. So people really do believe in it, even if they don't know Perry personally.
Yeah,
But let me read this comment some knucklehead just left on the live stream. Joshua, we'll call him Newman. He said, Joshua is a false prophet. Y'all need to reconsider your relationship with Christ. He has been spreading doctrines of demons. Christ clearly taught he would not return till after the tribulation. Yo, Joshua, have you been listening to the stream? Because we're literally saying that Christ is not coming back until after the tribulation, like it says in Matthew 24, verse 29. Where nobody's up here saying, oh, he's coming back tonight. Like literally, that's what we're up here refuting.
I
So
think
either you
people.
haven't been paying attention or you're just a knucklehead. If you want to come up here, there's a link in the chat, Mr. Joshua.
I think Joshua probably just, or Judah, whatever his name is. I think he probably just saw the title of the stream and thought we were like doing a live stream waiting for the rapture to happen. Because I
You know
know
what? That might be the case.
a lot
That
of
might
people
be the
do that.
case.
They'll just go by streams, look at the title, and automatically think that the thing they're talking about in question is something they believe. Like,
Right. I find that just like so sad. Like say for instance, like if I did a video.
oh, okay. He clarified. He said, I'm mentioning to those who believe that. He said, I'm not. He's like, no, I've been listening.
All right. So my apology, Mr. Judah, for misunderstanding your comment. My apology. All right, cool. He's been listening. All right, so my bad for misunderstanding the comment. But yeah, it's just so strange to me that, there's millions of people today who are up and ready, waiting to be raptured away. And I mentioned earlier, I literally know a guy been a guy who's been contacting me on Gmail literally 100 times in the last 2 weeks. He has been so far up on my balls about this rapture. I should call him Bond, Gold Bond.
Jeez, man. He
But,
really
but
wants to
I
get
mean,
out of here,
seriously,
and I
this
can't blame
knuckle.
him, but
This
still.
dude, which I'll watch the wording I use. I almost slipped and called him a knucklehead, but I'll retract that because he's actually been very friendly with me. So I'll say that even though I disagree with Mr. James, I invited him multiple times to come up here and have a conversation about why we might see differently. He's been showing me a bunch of videos, this rapture dream here, that one there. And then he showed me a clip from his hotel room where he saw there were like free paintings on the wall. And they were like, one was like a seashore and a forest and something else. And it was like, the way that is determined, it's almost as if there's like three different raptures that's going to take place. I was like, hey man, if you want to come up and have a conversation, I'll um I'll bring you up for a conversation, but he didn't want to do that due to some circumstances, so that's okay. I'll respect that. But yeah, it's I try to tell him, hey, look, man, I don't need all the videos and stuff. I'm already aware of all these dreams that people have been having. It's nothing new. Like literally for the last 10, 15, 20 years, people have been having dreams of the rapture. Shit, even I myself had a
Dude,
few dreams over the years of the rapture. That
I
doesn't
think
mean
we
it's going
all
to
have,
happen like
and I
next
think
week
that's
or tomorrow.
normal. Yeah, I think that's normal too to have dreams like that because especially if you've been told that as a kid or grew up, watching those videos and stuff, you're gonna have that belief, and even brush if you grew up, a Christian or whatever denomination you're from, you're told that, Christ will return. And, you probably do have dreams of, Christ returning, or, that day of judgment happening. Because it's kind of like edged into your brain. I know in Catholicism, we were taught like all the time, oh, you better be good, because when that day of judgment comes around, if you've been bad, you're going with Satan, you're not going with Jesus, and all that type of stuff. Um, so yeah, I think it's totally normal to, have those kinds of dreams. Even people that live in countries that aren't, predominantly Christian, like people in the Middle East, that are Christians over there, that are in an area that's predominantly Muslim. Uh, they would have dreams like that and think it's prophetic. They think that Jesus is speaking to them. But it's it's not good to like just go off of that though, and then think you're a prophet and make videos, because like we've seen countless other times, they always end up being wrong. You know?
Then there's all these other knuckleheads. Like there was a knucklehead who called into my stream saying, "Oh, well, I encountered Jesus on the street back in 2005." Like what the hell? You encountered Jesus, but what did he look like? Oh, well, I don't know what he looked like. How could I remember? It's like, well, but how the hell could you forget meeting the Son of Man if you supposedly met him? Like, how the hell could you forget that? And then second of all, like say for instance, like that too cheesy dude, he was telling me, well, the way that I would know if Jesus actually was here is, well, I would just know by his character, and what I see. So I was like, okay, so what if some knucklehead was to come up and like make fake miracles by like using demon magic and called himself the savior? Like, would you believe that? Like, would that be enough to convince you? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just ridiculous, how
And
some
it
of these
literally
people
says
are
that
thinking
there's
out
going
here.
to be those in the last days that can perform miracles and stuff, and they're going to deceive a lot of people. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's it's like, bro, like I don't know how they can like. Well, I know how they can fall for that. I mean, they're falling for what I call like McDonald's Christianity right now. Like it's being propped up on the news and stuff. And all those people are going to do is, if any change is going to happen in the near future, all that's going to happen is like more violence, more religious violence, more violence between people. You might, instead of seeing the Hebrew Israelite, hey, remember that video I posted in the Discord? I think I showed you. It was I don't think it was IUIC. It might have been ISUPK. They were in the street. They were defending like the Jews, and they were fighting those pro-Palestine
Yeah,
protesters.
yeah, I seen that. I seen that.
They got arrested, but they were like throwing hands with those people. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's
That's the
crazy,
kind of
man.
stuff. That's the kind of stuff we're probably going to see in the future. Is you might see mainstream Christians fighting Hebrew Israelites. You might see Hebrew Israelite camps fighting Muslims. It's going to come to a heated contention eventually, because right now that's what they're doing. They're pitting the two against each other. The
They're
Christian,
gonna do it to.
yeah, yeah. What were we going to say, Lina Judah?
So in Albert Pike's plan, I don't know if you ever heard of Albert Pike or not. So
Oh yeah,
during the new
yeah.
system, they're gonna use Christianity, Islam, and Judaism to like fight amongst each other, so they could destroy each other.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I believe he says something like World War III will be between Christianity and Islam, and they're going to use them to basically take each other out. And then when that comes to a standstill, they're going to usher in, this new world order that they have. And what we know now, at least from the looks of it, it looks like this technocracy that they've been trying to bring out,
But
all that.
but we need them to do that so they can fulfill the prophecy of the famine of the word. Because that's the Lord
Yeah.
doing that because He's making a famine of the Lord. Because He's playing 3D chess with us all. So if we play on the Lord's side, and then yeah, He will spare us because He controls evil and good.
Right, we understand that. Oh, but you know what? That it's funny you bring that up because that's something that'll get you kicked out of the church if you were to bring up that God is behind good and evil. Oh,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. You can't say
how could
that.
you say something like that? Sweet Jesus.
I've told
That's
Christians that
all
before.
good.
You know what's crazy too is I think even in Islam, if you say that God's behind the deception, I think because I've only seen a little bit of the Quran. I haven't like gone in there and like read the whole thing, but I think that you're not allowed to say that as well. I believe there is a verse in there that basically says the same thing. But if you ask a Shia or a Sunni, they're going to probably tell you, no, he's not behind the evil. And if you do say he's behind the evil, or then you're basically calling God evil, you know, they'll hurt you for saying something like that.
You know, it's funny because Mr. Nick, that dude we mentioned, he even said, "Well, UTT, I challenge you to have a debate about, God creating, evil, because in polygamy, both of those, you guys are wrong on that." And I'm thinking to myself, like Nick, you've seen the conversation I did with multiple different people about both of those topics. To sit there and say that you are unsure about like how Hebrew Israelites could be with polygamy, or say that God creates good and evil, to sit there and say that you're unsure how we come to that conclusion, you're just being either willfully ignorant and delusional, or just not paying attention because you're got too much substances flowing through your veins. Like, I don't know what one of the two it is, but you need to pay better attention. So, hey, look, if Nick's watching, I don't have a problem with going on his stream to have a discussion about polygamy or God creating both good and evil. It's fine to do that. But to sit there and pretend like there's not a reasonable defense for both of these topics, you're just being lazy at that point. If you're not willing to acknowledge the evidence in the verses, you're just being willfully ignorant and lazy. That's just what it is, man.
Yeah, that's the thing too. ETT is, again, it goes to the point we talked about earlier. Is there doesn't even really need to be a debate. It's just like it's what it says in the book. It's what the verse says,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
for
pretty
people who
clear
are
cut.
watching now, not to cut you off, you can continue in a minute, but for people who are new, just tuning in because they saw the title, just read the Bible. If you read Amos 3 verse 6, it says, "If there's evil in the city, was God not the one who did it?" That question mark, asking you the question. Another one, Isaiah 45 verse 7, "I, the Lord, create light, create darkness. I made the peace, and I created the evil." And there's plenty of other verses in the Bible to support that. But go ahead, Galapagos, with what you're saying.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that whatchamacallit, like it's again like the denial, like Christians trying to do this form of spiritual self-harm, where they're trying to debunk their own book essentially by denying verses that it says in there. And again, I'm only tying the two together because I'm starting to realize that there's really not that much a difference between the two. um you know I don't really see this with Jews, but I see, well, yeah, because then the Jews, it's not just the Torah with them. They also have like the Tanakh and these other books they subscribe to. But you'll see some of them trying to justify things and books other than the Torah versus what the Torah says. And then, Muslims, you'll see them, fight with each other over different doctrines with books outside of the Quran, or sunnahs is what they call it, like the verses
Right.
that the other writers wrote in. Basically, in the Bible, our version would be like the apostles and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, they argue with each other over that, and justify certain things that are said in there versus what the source material says itself, versus what the Quran alone says itself. And we're seeing the same thing with Christians. We have seen it for a long time. And yeah, yeah, exactly, Judah. You bring up a good point. You say the Quran mentions that for Jews and Christians, they'll be judged by the gospel and Torah. And there's even a verse in there, the Quran alone, that says, that to treat them with respect. But then if you go off of what some of the writers said later on, that this came out, I believe it was 200 years after Muhammad passed away or died. Um, that's when the whole split sort of began with like the Sunni and the Shias. And their new writings, what they say now is, oh no, there is no peace between Christians and the Jews, and they're going to hell, and you shouldn't be nice to them or whatever. And it's like people like Christians we see now, they will fight to debunk their own book. And it's the same thing with some Muslims here. They will fight to debunk their own Quran. The Quran says what it says, and it makes somewhat sense. The little bit I have read of it, and some of these verses, a lot of the chimp out verses and bugged out verses we see, like they go viral, It's not in the Quran alone, it's in the sunnahs of the later writers that came out after Muhammad's death. And it's crazy. Like there's some kind of like parallel between the two, right? And again, I would assume with Jews, it's kind of the same thing with the books outside of the Torah. You know, they and then the rabbis, they have their own spin and belief system of how verses should be interpreted. And you know, some of them probably are saying things that are off. And you know, even if David was here, he probably would say the same thing, that there are some that are preaching doctrines that are clearly not in line with the Torah. And I think that's one thing all the faiths have in common is right now in these days there's clearly a push to kind of step away from the source of the book and bicker with each other over whose interpretation is right here, and this added interpretation here should be taken, or this writing, you know.
Right,
It's very
I get what
insane.
you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And
Like one
and
of the
now,
major flaws
yeah.
with Christianity today, like a vast majority of the congregations, is most of them believe that you don't have to keep the law today, right? That somehow like Christ did away with that, which first of all doesn't make any sense. If Christ did away with the law, why would he literally teach to follow the law? Like how the hell does that make sense? But even among the very few who do teach to keep the some of the laws, like say for instance, if you ask a Christian, well, what laws do you gotta live by? They'll tell you, well, the Ten Commandments. It's like, okay, but do you know that there's 603 other laws in the Bible that God talked about? Like, say, for instance, if you're saying you only got to live by the 10, well, there's nothing in the 10 Commandments that condemns getting a tattoo or being a rainbow or yeah, eating unlawful meats. So, like, all of those, you all don't pay attention to anymore. Those are all like done away, apparently. Like, when did God change his mind on that? Because God's commandments are forever, right? They're from generation to generation. Like, if you read, I believe it's Malachi 3, verse 6, it says, I, the Lord, change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed, right? So the Bible says that God, he doesn't change. His moral values and standards, they don't change over time from generation to generation. And that's obviously something that modern day Christianity leaves out. Like, say, for instance, maybe in the Old Testament days, um, maybe you couldn't eat certain things back then, but, that's not today. Or maybe having 2 or 3 wives, yeah, they did that back then, but that's not today. Or, stoning rainbow people, that maybe they did that back then, but, the times have changed. I mean, shit, it's so bad. There's even transformer pastors out there, for Christ's sake.
I've seen that.
You know what I'm saying? Let me tell
Yeah.
you something. I literally know a pastor who his daughters, which they're in their 20s now, but they grew up in the church. But I was overhearing a conversation they were having one time where they were apparently the pastor was yelling at them because they were both going around saying, well, they agree that people should be able to choose their gender. Hey, if they feel that they're, a kayak or a grizzly bear or a she-male, they should be allowed to be that. If that's what they feel, whatever. Love is love. And the pastor couldn't
What about a
believe that his
robot
daughters
chicken?
believed that. I'm sorry, you said what?
I said, what about identifying as a robot chicken? Uh,
I mean, shit, that's on the table too at this point.
I mean, dude, we're going into a world where, or we're coming into a time where I don't even think any of this stuff is going to really matter anymore. Like they have people fighting over race and, religion and creed, but if they, because I'm just looking at what like these technocratic people like, like Elon Musk and these guys that were actually on stage with Trump during his inauguration, what their plans were. Um, to introduce like AI and revamp the internet and all these things. We're coming into an age where there's not going to be much physical. It's going to be more digital. That again, this is what they want. I'm not saying it's going to happen, and it's gonna like what it sounds like is a lot of the online interactions. It's going to get to a point where it's not going to matter the race of the person, the religion of the person you're interacting with. They're going to make that irrelevant because they're going to make everybody kind of not probably out on the front. They're not going to like outright force you to do it. It'll probably be like COVID. It'll be like optional. You'll get incentivized. And then in the end, it'll be like, okay, if you just don't do it, then you just can't make money or you can't open a bank account, whatever. But it's going to be like inclusive. Like they're not going to care what anybody identifies as, what they are, whatever, because they're all on the same system. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they're going to leave belief systems out of it. They're gonna make it. You can identify as a damn probably lemon at that point. Like it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. And like you see it now. Like I remember when I was doing my passport, it was saying, do you identify as a Mister or a Miss, or do you choose not to identify? And then even on like the license, it says that now. So and then at my job, at my work, it was even saying that when I was like filling out something I had to. So I'm like, it's on all fronts, man. And you can
You know what I find funny though? Just to add on to
yeah,
what you're saying,
yeah.
like the other day I tried to make an account for a new game, and even on just the account to play a game, they ask what gender you are. And then of course to give, oh well, you can be something custom. Right? You can be custom. It's like, wow, like even on a damn game, you can choose to be custom. Like what first of all, why the hell do you even have to know my gender just to play a game? You know what I'm saying? Like it's getting crazy out here. It's just getting above and beyond at this point. The insanity and the pure garbage that's going on out here, man. But hey, as the Bible says, of those days, if they were not cut short, no flesh will be alive to be saved. But for God's elect's sake, those days they will be short. In Matthew 24, verse 21 and 22, which, by the way, proves that God's elect are on earth during the tribulation, because it says the days of the tribulation will be made short for their sake. So that debunks the pre-tribulation rapture or secret rapture that, people go around and regurgitate on YouTube. Just a fun
Have
fact.
you ever Have you ever heard of a gamer girl called Finster? Because a lot of people, a lot of people, like a lot of men didn't know she was a she was a transformer until like she started talking. Cause it's even like cause even I thought that was a gamer girl until she started talking. It was kind of fucked up though. Like just looking
I
at shit
think
like
I
that.
saw something about that person on Twitter, and they were associated with somebody that got caught up in a scandal. Like apparently they were, talking to somebody or grooming somebody that was way below like age or whatever. It was weird, but they were basically trying to say that that person, since he's associated with that other person, they might also be guilty of doing something sketchy with or something like that. But yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I don't like know who they are, like watch their stuff or anything.
Oh no,
Um,
I don't watch Finster. Yeah, I don't watch Finster, but I'm saying how like weird they are. Yeah, it's kind of gross and disgusting. It makes my stomach hurt.
Yo, real quick, Peter said, no, we leave before the tribulation. Yo, Peter, there's a fresh link in the chat. If you would like to come up here and demonstrate your claim, you are welcome to come up here. But the Bible clearly says that we're not taken away before the tribulation. Like again, literally the whole argument is ended by one verse, Matthew 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, Son of Man returns and sends his angels to gather together his elect with the sound of a trumpet from all over the world. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. It literally told you it happens immediately after the tribulation. Now, Peter, I
Didn't it say
imagine you understand what the word after means. It's not before, it's not in the middle, it's after. Go ahead, Judah.
sorry to interrupt, but it also says in scriptures too that some of you be cast into prisons. So obviously that tribulation right there too, you be cast into prisons. The only time you will be elected out of this place is when nuclear Armageddon happened, and Armageddon is not the tribulation. Armageddon is after Armageddon is the final tribulation. When the nukes rain on Babylon, so the Lord will gather his 144,000 elect out of here. So yeah, we will still have to live. We still have to endure the tribulation, because it also says to cause the mark of the beast, the hour of
Well,
temptation. So we'll
remember,
be
remember to
tempted to take
use
it.
code of language, my
The
friend.
MOBT chip, the
Well,
MOBT.
yeah, we get what you're saying. Go on.
Yeah. So anyway, you'll be tempted to take the MOBT because first of all, uh, I'm pretty sure they make life uncomfortable for you in those times. They'll cast you into prisons. They'll either probably torture you or execute you for not taking it. Second, you're gonna see everybody else doing it. You're probably gonna miss your family members. They chipped up, but you're not. You're gonna be isolated from. You're gonna miss your family members. You gonna have that temptation to go back into the world, but you won't care about none of that if you have the Holy Spirit. Christians don't have the Holy Spirit of understanding or
No,
comfort.
no, they don't. And
And you already see what he's basically saying, we don't have to live through tribulation. Christians don't even have the stomach to Christians don't even have the stomach to go against the powers that be in those times and endure the suffering and torture.
But I
they don't
forgot.
even have
According
that now.
according to Jill, oh, the Romans 13. Oh, that's the government, right? He's the minister of God for good. What the? And you know what I find funny? Like even GMS believe that bullshit for some reason. Like, how the hell are you gonna sit there and tell me that the government is the minister of God to us for good, but
Yeah,
yet somehow the supposed minister of God, which first of all, the word minister means a man who has power over a congregation. That's obviously not the government. But then it says he's a minister of God to us for good. Well, what the hell good is the U.S. government doing? I mean, half the
Well,
people out
I
here
could tell
are.
you.
Go ahead.
dude. ETT, I actually got
So
something
the
to bring
U.S.
up about
government.
GMS
So
Yo,
after.
hold on,
so
Judah. Let Galapagos go. Go ahead.
Oh,
so
I was just.
any so
Oh, Judy, you can
the
go. You
Lord
can go.
creates
I'll talk after.
wickedness. So the Lord creates wickedness, and the only time he'll create wickedness is to judge the person that sinned. So we're under captivity in America, the Israelites, because we sinned against God. So the United States Esau system is used as a whipping stick. So now
Well, I'll
so we
address
know that.
real quick. I'll address your statement in a second, but uh, Galapagos, you go ahead first.
I was gonna say, man, I don't know if you saw this. I saw this on a GMS channel a while back, probably a couple of months ago, um, maybe June, around that time, probably. But what I was gonna say was they were talking about the elect, and I don't know if this is a new thing they started teaching or what, or if they were just throwing out a hypothetical. But one of the GMS guys was trying to say that the 144,000 might not even be here. They might already be like a lot of them might already be dead and just in the spirit world, and it might just be
Yeah,
GMS
that don't make any
or
sense.
whatever. And I was even saying, like, dude, that makes absolutely zero sense at all. And I think they're going against an earlier teaching. If that's true, what I heard, I could have misheard him. Um, if that's true, then they're contradicting their previous teachings, because I remember they used to not teach that. They used to teach that the
Well,
144,000 were here.
what I would say is that from listening to them, they teach that a vast majority of the 144,000 are alive, but perhaps there could be some members who died in the faith, like say within the last 10, 15, 20 years, people who might have been members of the camp who might be a part of that 144,000 who might have passed on, who will be risen up at the last day. So, yeah, I think that some of the 144,000 might be resting in the grave, but certainly not a large portion of them. Much of the 144,000 will be alive on the earth when that rapture happens. But sure, there certainly could be some of them who might be resting in the grave till that day, because I know that Paul speaks about, that the dead in Christ, they would rise first, and then us alive would be called up in the clouds to meet them. I believe that's 1 Corinthians 15:50 on down, if anyone wants to check that out. But yeah, I get what you're saying with that. But Judah, go ahead. You were making a statement. You can continue.
So yeah, the reason why I say America leadership is ordained by God, because we need America to enforce these laws to bring forth prophecy. So anybody who's the most, so any pawn that the Most High has to bring forth prophecy, we'll say that's a good works, because what America is doing is bringing forth prophecy to bring forth our kingdom. So yeah, America is it is a good thing that what America is doing, because I mean they're only bringing forth the prophecy so it could so our kingdom could come down on earth. So they just getting it set up so our kingdom could just come on earth, and Yahweh Shai could just destroy this place. So
Okay, but
that's why I
real
would say
quick.
American leadership is ordained by God. They're pawns by the
Okay,
Lord
okay,
anyway, if they're evil or
but
good.
real quick, real quick, brother. I don't think you pay attention to the conversation. First of all, do you know what the word minister means? I'll take that as a no.
Will it be a priest?
Yes, sir. Now, is the Congress of the United States a priest?
No.
Okay, then. So, how is the government of America a minister like yours?
A minister from GMS. I never asked GMS the question, but I assume
I'm not
so. They
asking
going.
you. Well, real quick, bro. I'm not asking you GMS perspective. I'm well aware of their perspective, but you seem to be in disagreement. So I wanted to give you a chance to elaborate your statement because it's to me it sounds like you're saying that Romans 13, the minister of God there, you're saying that is the U.S. government, which I totally disagree. But I want to give you a chance to elaborate on what you're saying. So I'm not asking you what GMS is talking about. I know what they're talking about. I'm asking what you're saying.
Then the United States wouldn't be a minister of God because they go against they wouldn't be. I wouldn't consider them a minister because because like for instance they allow rainbow marriages. Uh, they uh they allow rainbow marriages.
Right.
How the money system works, the tax system.
Right. So I'm saying, so would you agree with me that Romans 13, when saying that the individual it's talking about in the chapter from verse 1 on down, it tells you in verse 4 that this is the minister of God to you for good. So I'm saying, are you agreeing with me that that's not the U.S. government?
Then yes.
Okay, so just to clarify again, so I understand. So you're saying you agree it's not talking about the government?
Yes, it's not
Okay.
talking about the government. I probably had a wrong perspective about the verse or read it wrong.
That's fine. No worries. No worries. So one thing I can say is that it is true that God did set up nations. Like say, for instance, we'd read Book of Daniel. God set up multiple kingdoms that would rule on earth. So it is true that God set up like Russia, China, America. But that doesn't mean that those are ministers of God. That doesn't mean they're doers of good. It's a line of prophecy, right? Like God set up certain kingdoms to rule over the earth for a certain amount of time, but then at the end they would decline and then they'd be judged at the end. But that doesn't mean they're a minister of God. It doesn't mean they're doing good for us. And that doesn't even mean we have to obey their laws and regulations. Now, before
Right.
Jill jumps down real quick, before Jill jumps down my throat for saying that, I didn't say to go out and do nothing against the local rules where you're at, but to say that the Bible teaches that you have to obey them, that's just not true. There's so many examples in the Bible where righteous men literally one getting commanded by the king or the politicians of nations literally completely disrespect that. In fact, even the man himself, Christ, completely disrespected Pilate. Remember when Christ was being judged? Pilate told him, I have power to, to set you free. And Christ answered him, not the word, and told him something cocky like, well, you don't have power over me, except what comes down from heaven, or something cocky like that. But Christ totally disrespected Pilate, right? He answered Pilate, not the word, until he decided to speak at the end. Now, say, for instance, if you yell at your child or speak to your child and they don't respond to you, you would consider that to be disrespectful. That would be rude. So Christ himself was literally rude to the dictator. So whatever happened to obeying whatever the dictator says and obey the laws of the land and don't ask questions? I mean, well, Christ clearly he wasn't living that way. I mean, how many examples is there when the apostles, on the other hand, they were commanded by the rulers of cities to stop teaching about Christ? They literally told them it's against the rules for you to go out in these streets and teach Christ, and they still continue to do it. So there's so many examples. Oh, Daniel, right in the book of Daniel, he was commanded to not worship other gods, but guess what? He disobeyed their commandment, and he still worshipped his God. The seven brothers in the book of Second Maccabees, the seventh chapter, the king commanded them to eat swine's flesh. They said, no, we will not do it. What about in Daniel, was that chapter 3 with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? The king told them, you must bow before the statue and worship it. They told the king, no, we will not do as thou say. So there's so many examples in the Bible where righteous men disobey the laws of the land. So, I mean, there's a massive hill to climb for anybody who tries to make a statement and say, oh, well, if you believe in the Bible, you have to follow the laws of the land. That's just not true. Now, I can agree in certain circumstances it could be wise to follow some uh, dictatorships and rules in some areas. Like, say, if you're driving down the street, just go by the speed limit. But you don't have to sit there and say that you have to keep all the laws of the land. That is not what the Bible teaches. And I would challenge anybody who dares to disagree on the topic, because you will get squashed in a debate on the topic. Mike's, any one of y'all can take the mic.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I do want to ask GMS why they
yeah.
believe in it, because there's a lot of questions I do want to ask GMS. But I will want to ask GMS about the Roman scripture, because they just say like we were supposed to obey the government and that's it.
Yeah, they'll tell you to obey the government because he's the minister of God. So if any brother goes out and disobeys the law of the land, we'll call Esau on him. It's completely retarded and stupid. So that's
Oh,
definitely one
dude.
one
Okay.
point of contention that I have with them.
I got one thing I wanted to say that you just kind of reminded me of again is I remember GMS were on the street and this guy like Sam Shimon came up to them and he is what is he, a Christian apologist basically.
Yeah.
He'll go out there and duke it out with anybody, even people. He mainly goes after Muslims or tries to debate Muslims, but he'll debate like the Hebrew Israelites, people that have other Christian doctrines. Because I think what it was that he was Orthodox at one point, and I think now he's Catholic. And I think he's even debated other Christians. Like I remember he was going after that. I don't even think this guy's a Christian, really, to be honest with you. But he was going after Jay Dyer, who I think he's an Orthodox, I believe. And they were going back and forth, and Sam Shimon was going kind of crazy. But the point is that I remember GMS was on the street. Sam Shimon came up to him with some people. They were obviously there to cause a scene, whatever. But he knew that he was going to get a reaction out of them. If GMS was just calm and like, hey, let this guy talk, whatever. Because I think what he was telling GMS was, okay, do y'all speak Hebrew? Do y'all know the Hebrew? And I think Tahar was there, but they were basically saying, hey, if he comes back again, call the cops on his ass. It's like, what the hell?
You know what I find funny though? It's not
Yeah.
only him. They did the same thing with Vocab Malone and even Brother Facade from the
Oh,
Genesis
yeah.
camp. I was watching the Har video, and the Har said, "If that nigga from Genesis shows up at camp, y'all better call the cops on his ass." I'm thinking to myself, what the hell did Hassad do? Like just
Yeah.
rolling up on a GMS camp and asking them questions, like what the hell? What? If y'all don't want to talk to people, then get your ass off the street and go do a live stream from Gabar's apartment complex or something. Like seriously, like why are y'all going out on the street if y'all don't want to take questions or debates from other people? Like I mean seriously, like what sense does that make? It makes absolutely no sense. So on one hand, and again, I do respect Great Millstone, but they also have some issues with their camp. So I got to say that first and foremost. But what sense does it make to sit there and say you're, big and bad and bold when it comes to the Bible, but then run like little girls from anybody that wants to come up and challenge you? Like I remember Tahar said back in probably like the early 2010s, there's a video where he says, we'll debate any scholar that claims that they know the Bible. If they roll up, we'll debate any of them. So why are y'all just hiding and don't want to talk to anybody now? Like literally, I saw God Logic rolled up on GMS one day, and they literally just stood there like a bunch of nesting dolls and mannequins, and like answered him not a word while he's there trying to have a respectful discussion with them. Like what the hell?
Dude,
What the
ETT,
hell? Makes
I
no
seen
sense.
a video. I seen a video where one of these like mainstream Christian guys that like became a born again Christian. One of these born again Christian channels. He was in I think it was California, and he went up to one of the camps. I think they might have been a GMS affiliate camp in California, and it might actually have been in Sacramento. And he went up to them and he was asking them, trying to talk to them, like, "Hey, y'all say that I can't be saved or whatever because I'm what you would call an Edomite. Like, can you explain that to me or whatever? Explain why Jesus, uh, is it says that we can be saved, but y'all are saying we can't." And they were just shouting at him, like yelling at him, "Hey man, if you don't get out of here, something's gonna happen," and or calling him Edomite, Edomite, or they were chanting something at him. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, why can't y'all just have the guy was even letting them talk. He wasn't talking over them, anything. Even if he disagreed with them, he was letting them speak. And in the beginning, they were speaking with him, and they were like, "Yeah, you shut up, you Edomite," this and that. I'm like, man, come on. And by the end of it, he was just like saying what his piece, and they were like, "Man, you better get out of here. We're gonna have some problems. We're gonna call the cops." I'm like, this
Yeah,
whole thing could have easily
that's
been
weird,
diffused.
man.
This
It's
whole
just
thing could have
really
easily
sad.
been diffused. Yeah, if they were just calm like he was and had that same demeanor, they could have had a respectful conversation, even though they disagreed, and they both could have walked away. Like it was just ridiculous. I don't
Right,
know.
I hear you. I got to give credit to D. Coon and Facade from the Genesis camp. Even though I have some beef with them, I do got to give them credit that they are very respectful with having street debates with people, right? They, might crack some jokes here or there, but, they're not going to run somebody off the street and, talk over them in a debate. They'll actually have respectful back and forth conversations. So I do got to give them respect for that. Even Tazariak, even he in many instances can be respectful, but that's not always in every debate. But for the most part, he can keep it relatively respectful, in a back and forth discussion.
Yeah, I just I just think it's funny, they'll be like, "Man, we'll take on anybody." And then just some random guy, it's not even necessarily someone with a large following, will come up to them with questions that genuinely wants to learn. And they'll just be like, "Nah, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him or
Like,
get away
like,
from
like
him."
you know what I find funny, man? Why we're talking about that? Remember that GMS narrator dude from like Hawaii? He's like, oh, if BTT comes around, someone will have to hold me back. I think to myself,
No,
like, dude, the
no,
only
I
thing that
don't.
I
That's
did to
funny.
that knucklehead was 5 or 6 years ago. I did a video where I called him like, you know, uh, well, I really didn't say anything bad. I just said, well, why the hell are you using a globe as your icon picture? Like what the hell? And literally, that's his whole beef with me, for whatever reason. And the knucklehead's like, oh, if ETT's ever around, have to be held back, right? I'll have to be held back. I think to myself, like, dude, what, like, what the hell did I ever do to you? I mean, seriously, what the hell did I ever do to you? Or to GMS overall. I've always said that Great Millstone, I give them my respect. And even the apostles, they know about me. Did you know that the Har is subscribed to my channel and watches my videos? The Har knows about
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I knew that.
So
And
like
I think
what the hell is this
I
knucklehead's
remember, yeah, he pulled
problem?
up one of your videos one time before.
Right, right. So it's like I don't know what this narrator guy's issue is. He just has a bad case of ADHD. And he just has a bunch of YouTube fame because, well, he goes under the name GMS. Just like these other Sakari guys. Like I had a debate recently with a Sakari captain. The dude has like what, maybe 3,000 subs, but if he didn't have the Sakari in his name, he'd be a nobody, right? The dude, nobody would know this dude. He just got famous off of Sakari, right? If he didn't have that, this dude would be a nobody. You know what I'm saying? So some of these guys get hyped up when they start getting, larger sub amounts and, try to puff themselves up like they know something. But, if you were to actually have a discussion with some of these guys, you find out that they're, just a lot of, they look all tough, but when they have a discussion, you find out they're just, they don't know what the hell's going on, for simple terms.
Yeah, and that's the thing I don't really understand is I know GMS is a large group, and there's even people like in other countries that rep GMS. Like I remember I showed LOP. There's a guy in Ireland. He's a he's a white guy, right? But he reps, he reps GMS, and I think he lives in Scotland or something. I,
Right.
I forgot his name. I subscribed to him just to see him in my feed, like because I remember I was looking for his channel for a year. He popped up in a recommended, and I never saw him again. And then I finally found him like a year later, and I was like, oh, I'm subscribing to him just so I can prove that there is an Israelite affiliate like way up in Europe. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
there's even a GMS in like London or something, or in the UK,
Yeah, yeah. They
and
have there's
they're
a
all over.
GMS camps all over the world, Africa, London, France, probably even one in Russia, believe that or not. But yeah, they're all over the place. I know the head apostles are located mostly in New York, I believe. One of them's maybe in like Texas or something. But yeah, there most of them are in America, but there are certainly some around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's GMS Dallas, but But yeah, man, I was just gonna say, like, I don't understand how deep, like, or how interconnected their leadership is. But I noticed, like, I remember, I think you addressed this before that, one of the GMS elders will tell you that, yeah, it's fine for you to add GMS to your name or whatever, or it's, I'm cool with it. It doesn't matter. And then another one came out and be like, I don't know who told you that, but you need to take it off. Like,
Yeah, like say
it,
for instance, I
I
the
don't
story
get that.
behind that was like years ago. I asked one of the apostles if I could add it. He was like, "Oh, well, no." I was like, "Okay." So I asked Tahar, literally the main head of the camp, the man in charge, if I could, and he's like, "Yeah, you can." It's like, "Okay, sure." So one thing happened here or there, but then they asked me to take it down, which I respected that. And then somebody even said, "Well, why don't you go do your own thing?" I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I will do my own thing." But then apparently narrators, oh, you know, how could ETT even be on YouTube? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's completely ridiculous. Like, say for instance, this dude that leads the GMS Alabama camp, I believe their channel is called as GMS Mysteries of the Kingdom or something like that. He knows me. We've known each other for like 8 years. He's like, oh yeah, I always see ETT. He's a good guy. So we like each other, right? We know each other. But narrators, oh, if ETT comes around, I'll have to be held back out of my anger because how dare he criticize my globe picture? I mean, wow, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and that's the deep thing too, is like a lot of them, they're not
And
gonna
real quick,
admit it.
before you say that, one thing that has to be
Yeah.
said is I'll all ignore the fact that I've literally defended their camp. When I went on a debate with Alazar and Dekun, I literally defended Great Millstone and came to their defense on this or that topic. But that'll all be brushed under the rug because ETT, well, he must be a scoffer. Well, what the hell do you mean a scoffer? Like, what scoffer has 3,000 videos uploaded? Some of them even defending your ass. And you know what I'm saying? Like, how the hell does that make any damn sense to call somebody just because on one hand they respect you, but on another hand they might have one or two respectful disagreements with you. It just doesn't make any damn sense. As I said, GMS, I think it's fair to what's the word I'm looking for? Analyze them as having 90% truth but 10% lies. I think that's a fair assessment to give that organization after listening to them for 9 years or so. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm be honest, man, even me, like, I don't really subscribe to like everything they say. But in terms of the truth, like the real, truth with what's going on in the world and all that, world events, I actually subscribe to two of their channels, and I watch them because they break it all down like immediately. I don't watch the news. I don't, you know, really pay attention to Twitter or what's breaking on there. Because they upload pretty frequently, like at least like once a week or a few times out the week they'll upload, and they pretty much
Right,
brush
right.
over everything, all the major topics, and just to stay in the loop, they're pretty good at addressing all the points
Yeah, I
without
agree with you.
going
As I
into all
said,
the
man,
nonsense.
I do give Great Millstone respect. I believe that they're the number one Israelite camp out of all the camps. And again, the apostles, they know about me. They watch me. But even DeHarce is like, yeah, ETT, he's with us, but sometimes he disagrees on some stuff. But, I've learned to respect that. They've learned to respect that. Well, at least some of them, both ways. So yeah, as I said, I always give Great Millstone credit. Think they're the number one Israelite camp, but they certainly do have their flaws on topics here or there, and that's just what it is. But But yeah, man, I do gotta close this up in a minute here because it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so I gotta get some sleep. But yeah, man, it's definitely good having you on here for a discussion. It's been a long time since we last talked, man. It's been like what, maybe 3, 4 months or something like that,
Yeah, man,
if
it's
not
it's
longer.
it's been a while, bro. It's been a while, but yeah, dude, glad to hear, everything's good. I found the guy's channel that I was telling you about though, the one that lives in like Scotland or whatever. He's
Oh,
called
okay.
GMS Napash Ba.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
Dude,
check it out.
yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah, that was fun. I may join the next one if you have another one of these sometime soon if I have some
Yeah,
time.
that's
But
cool, man. Real
yeah.
quick, I put my personal Gmail on the screen. You're welcome to contact me there. We can stay in contact, behind the scenes, right? We can keep
Oh yeah,
in
yeah, for
contact
sure,
there if you
man.
want to reach out to me. And anybody else listening who has a question or comment or wants to contact me for whatever reason, feel free to contact me at that Gmail on the screen there. But yeah, man, a good conversation, and I'll catch you around. All right.
All right, man. All right, ETT, take care.
You as well, my friend. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the stream up here, hour and about an hour and 10 minutes. If anybody watched to the end, put hashtag Rapture, just as a little inside joke. So in conclusion, there will be nothing out of the ordinary that happens today on the 23rd, and all these millions of people that believe it, they're just going to be there's going to be a rude awakening. When the 24th and 25th roll around and no rapture happened, no sweet Jesus came back. Everybody's going to find out the hard way. But hey, we've been sitting up here telling the truth. And if anybody didn't like that, well, that's just what it is. We're just telling the truth of the matter. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap the show up there. I thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It was definitely a good stream and discussion, and y'all have a good rest of your day.